Oh, shit.
July is almost over. Get into the Patreon. If you're a monthly member, upgrade to the year. If you're a yearly member, well, if you're not a member, become a yearly member. And all the money this month is going to Danny Boy as a wedding present. Congrats to Dan, who got married this month.
Hey.
No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen.
Welcome to the Perfect Parlay Pursuit, everybody. It is I, your host, Lukey CK, the leader, the front runner, the number one picker on this podcast. It's really not a podcast. It's more of a show, if you think about it. We're on YouTube, 1,000 strong. Thanks for being a part of the Perfect Parlay Pursuit, where we try to give you a perfect parlay every Saturday. We bet on the UFC every Saturday. Dan, I was just thinking, isn't it crazy that I gamble on the UFC on every single fight, every single weekend, and I'm still not addicted to gambling?
It's really quite incredible. I mean, I don't know what I could possibly attribute that to for you. You're incredibly, I don't know, you just jump right into things, but it's amazing. You're still not addicted to gambling.
I'm still not addicted. I do it every single weekend without fail, and yet there is nothing about it that is dug its hooks in. I'm not addicted at all. Alex, how are you?
I'm terrific. And I mean, Luke, I wouldn't even say that it's just every weekend. Sometimes you got a hot ping pong game in Russia that you need to put a little action on. I would say it's remarkable the amount you've gambled without becoming addicted. Hats off to you.
Thank you. I'll take my hat off to you as well. All of us are in the pursuit of a perfect parlay. Every Saturday, we will attempt at hitting a perfect parlay. We've done it at times, and sometimes we've not done it. Alex is, here strong. How you doing after last weekend? UFC London. I managed to skirt out like Indiana Jones underneath the sliding door. I had to grab my hat and get out of there. I barely made out with $100 profit, maybe. I mean, it was the last two fights. They call me Lukey 2 shots. It was all going bad, and I'm down hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You give me 2 shots in the gun, co-main and main, and I'll make something happen out of my ass. And did you listen to me? For those of you who are not members of the Patreon, please get in there, because Dan, it's the best way to support the show. We live and die off of your love, and we want you in the Patreon because this month Danny got married, Lieutenant Dan down there, and if you love him, if you're a fan of his, if he's the one of the three that you relate to and like best, you can support him directly, and you can give him money by subscribing to the Patreon, because all the money we make this month in July is going directly to Dan as a wedding present. Congrats to Dan for getting married. But if you're not in the Patreon, you missed out on this hot drop. Check this out, everybody.
Although Tom Aspinall is fighting Rafael Fiziev, who decided to bump up to heavyweight. Another shout out to Sadiq Youssef.
Listen, I think you should give Starlenko a look. She looked really good on the scale. She's thick. She's tall. People forget Molly McCann sucks, has no ground game, and Starlenko can easily take her down and submit her. Plus 350, Starlenko by submission. Have it in a parlay. I don't know. I might just take it. I think Molly McCann actually sucks, and to bet her at this line is crazy. I don't know. Just wanted to
Luke, consider it considered. I'm just kidding. I'll go with Julija. Okay. I'll switch to Julija. You are right. Molly McCann sucks on the ground. And I respect that. And she's an underdog, and I'm taking all the women underdogs tonight. I love you guys.
Okay, so I came on the show, UFC London. You might have thought Triple B certified Molly McCann. I don't know what kind of stupor, I don't know what kind of haze we were in, guys, but we thought about it after the week went by, and we came on the Patreon episode, the special Friday after the weigh-ins episode, and 2 of the 3 of us switched our pick to Julia Storyalenko. I even said by submission plus 350. That's exactly what happened, and that's exactly what saved my ass after a few things went awry. But ultimately, I went 11 out of 15 on the night in terms of the picks that I gave on the show. Alex and Dan not too far behind, 9 out of 15. A good night for all of us. I'm leading the pack, 62% accurate in year 4, 76 correct picks out of 122 given. Dan and Alex trail me ever so slightly, but still above 50%. Dan at 58%, Alex at 54.9%. But Triple B certified picks still lead the way as they did in year 3. 65.57%, 66%, 40 out of 61. And we went 6 out of 8 Saturday night on UFC London. Fiallo, Brazil, Yanel, Muradov, Puagas, Alvarez, Murphy, and Wood. Puagas and Yanel, Ashmus being the 2 that we got incorrect that were totally certified. But as I said, I went 11 out of 15. I got Pani Kianzad, Yanel Ashmus, Jamal Puagas, and Andre Muniz. Those were the 4 out of 15 that I got incorrect. But a lot of good picks there, a lot of pick'ems, a lot of dogs, and Starelenko by submission and Aspinall by finish ended up being the 2-leg parlay that brought me a little bit into the black, but ultimately just winning back losses for some things that went awry. The main thing that kind of went awry for me, I think, I don't know. I mean, it was Muniz. If Muniz had won, I would have been up 1,500 more. I had a parlay with Marcos, Murphy, Ziam, Muniz, Starelenko by KO or sub, and Tom by KO or sub. So that was a nice little 6-fight parlay, $50 to win 1,500. Muniz was the one who broke that one, so I had to rebuild. I threw one in the Patreon. Wood, Starelenko by KO or sub, and Tom Aspinall by finish. That was a 3-legger, but I ended up actually fucking accidentally leaving Wood off. And I'm kind of glad I did, because that was a really close fight that I think Andre Fili, kind of almost took. If you think about it, round 2 was really close. He dropped Wood, Wood dropped him. It was like hard to really judge. But we'll talk about those fights real quick. We'll wrap it up, give you our quick takes on what went right, what went wrong, and then we'll get into a very special card, UFC Nashville. Corey Sandhagen, the Mongoose, is back. He's taken on Rob Font, Umar Nurmagomedov. The pullout merchants continue to pull out, man. These Nurmagomedovs can't seem to show up and weigh in. I don't know what it is. I was terrified for Corey Sandhagen that he was going to have to fight Umar Nurmagomedov. What the hell happened to Umar? Did he have a Freaky Friday situation with his cousin, and now he's trapped in a different body, and that's why he can't show up and fight? I mean, what could possibly have gone wrong that he can't come up and fight the Mongoose? I don't understand. This was a golden opportunity for him, and all these guys under that team and that management and that part of the world seems pull out from fights, even though they are usually favorites in these fights that they're pulling out of. It's crazy. I don't like it, but Rob Font, Boston Bad Boys, coming in to do work after really waking motherfuckers up as an underdog against Adrian Yanez last time out. So I'm excited to see this and to break this one down. Yes, it's 2 weeks away. If you're wondering, Luke, the BMF title is on the line this week. Well, my friends, we already gave you a full card, top to bottom, main card and prelims breakdown of UFC 291, Gaethje versus Poirier, Blachowicz versus Pereira. We gave you the whole card, top to bottom, last week. It's there for you right now for free. Take a look, take a peek, full card breakdown, UFC 291. But if you want to see us do it again, if you are super, super in love with this show and you want to see us go through that card again with a fine-tooth comb and see if anything changes in our hearts or minds, get over to that Patreon, because right after we get done breaking down UFC Nashville, we're going to break down UFC 291 one more time with a fine-tooth comb, see if there's any changes to the card, see if we need to address anything, double down on anything, pull out of anything, switch anything up. You're going to get it if you go to the Patreon, patreon.com/perfectparlaypursuit. It's the best way to support the show, guys. You get an extra episode. You get access to our open bet sheets where we detail what we're betting that night. And we list all our picks out nice and neat for you. So it's the most easy, convenient way to get the show delivered and to support us. I've been talking for way too long, guys. So, Alex, Dan, take us through your night.
Yeah, so I didn't do too bad on the night. I got a positive record, 9 out of 15. Not terrible. I feel like I got robbed on that Davy Grant fight for sure. I thought that was a big time robbery. I thought Davy Grant had it for sure. And I really don't have any clue how they could have given it to Marcos. That being said, I didn't have that on any parlays. I just thought that was a little egregious. Dan, what did you think about that one? Did you get a chance to watch?
Yeah, I think that what swayed the judges was what the commentary team was constantly talking about, which was the blood all over Davy Grant's face. So he was wearing the damage a lot worse. I kind of agree. I had Marcos, so I had, a dog in the fight, but I thought Grant took it, and especially with the hometown, factor there, I thought it was definitely going to go to him. But judges clearly sided with the damage there. I'm not sure which 3 judges they were, but maybe a little Adelaide bird flying in there for you, boy, on that one. I didn't ultimately win on the night. Only sprayed out a couple of parlays there. Wasn't trying to go too crazy. Got a couple things coming up. So if you do gamble responsibly. But yeah, I thought Grant took it.
Yeah, for sure. I thought the blood might cause a little bit of a disruption on the scorecards, but I mean, when you're getting out activity like that, I just don't really see how a little bit of baby blood can impact the decision that much. Like Bisping was saying, he was like, that blood could have came from one single punch, and Davy Grant's been dapping him up the whole entire fight. I don't understand like how that doesn't get considered. Back in the day, it was never considered. I felt like Keith Jardine looked like a murder victim right at when he beat Chuck Liddell on the scorecards, covered in blood. Remember that, Luke?
I do, yeah. I mean, the judging has always been inconsistent. That's the one consistent thing about the judging, is that it's been inconsistent. And changing the rules, I mean, I think is now the most confusing thing that they could have done, because you have a batch of fans. I mean, who really knows about the rule change? The 1% of 1%. I would even say like the most hardcore fan, like people like us, I would say.
I don't know shit about the rules.
You didn't really know anything about it. It's 6 years ago it happened. But like, to what degree is a fan of cage fighting supposed to be this deep of a nerd who goes and like looks at like rule changes in the bylaws? It's like that's a 1% of 1% people thing. And now the people who were watching the sport 10 years ago and still are going to be like, what's going on with this judging, man? That guy, oh, by the way, speaking of, I went, somebody in the comments, since Dan and I were at a wedding that we were groomsmen in, we were unable to watch most of the card, Holm versus Bueno Silva. So I went back right before the show, and I just got done watching Hafez versus Madalena. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. I think Madalena did win the fight, Alex. I think that whoever made the comment that you might have been a little biased because you trained with Hafez and you got instruction under the same lineage. Here's what I'm going to say. You're not wrong in that it was a very close fight and it could have gone either way. It really comes down to one moment in round two. The entire fight comes down to one moment in round two, and how the discretion of the judges, look at that moment. So round one, all Hafez, all day long, 100%, dominated him in the striking and the grappling, if you ask me. Was cracking him and getting the better of the striking exchanges and the grappling. Round one, all Hafez. Round three, all Madalena for the same exact reasons. Finished on top with the grappling, was on top at moments with the grappling, reverse position, landed way more damage than Hafez did to him in the first round, right? Like a lot of damage on the feet. So you got to give round three to Madalena for damage and the grappling.
Round two, right?
It comes down to round two. And in round two, I say Madalena did win the striking. Not as bad as he did in round three, but a little better than Hafez did in round one. So it was a medium level victory with the striking that then he ended up the last 2 minutes of the fight in round two being on his back on the ground. But Hafez didn't do really any damage in those 2 minutes when he was on top. So all things considered, if you're looking at damage first, then Madalena need him in the second round. I think you might have forgotten that. There was a moment where he really, me and you were badasses. We look at those knees. We're like, they were glancing. They barely landed. But you're a couple pencil neck judges sitting on the sidelines. You see him hitting them with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 knees. You're gonna grade him. You're gonna count him. You're gonna score him. You're gonna be like, okay, that was definitely a big amount of striking that was done to him versus not a lot of striking. Now, my point is though, yeah, it's gotta be that. It can't be some guy edges him in the striking and then spends 2 minutes of the fight on his back. And wins that round. If it's all things equal on the feet, if you're a judge and you're watching the fight and you go, that was pretty close on the feet, you got to give the round still in a 6 years ago kind of style way. I mean, I know this is kind of pre-rules, but I still think that if you're looking at it and you go, the damage on the feet was equal, well, then you have to look to the ground control or the cage control time, because if something's being done to you, then you're not doing something. So you got to grade the guy who's doing something versus the guy who has something being done to him at the end of the day. Even though it's minor, it's, I'm not saying it's, huge. But
so why even say it?
So why even say it? Okay.
Everybody knows your boy lost. Your boy lost.
Okay, we move on.
Dan, you better be careful. He comes home to visit family.
But I will say,
you're right across the block.
Jack Dell is on, I mean, he's an easy. I'm not gonna say he's. Here's the thing. I don't even want to say he's. I think the story of like he's easy to take down is also wrong, because that guy, by all accounts, including Justin Gaethje, is a beast on the ground. Habib's a beast on the ground. So it's like, yeah, he got him down because he's a fucking sick wrestler. I don't necessarily think everybody who fights Jack Della is gonna take him down.
No shot. I mean, before that fight, I think I saw something online that the total time that he's had in UFC fights was like 3 minutes or something like that, 4 minutes. And I mean, granted, it was only 3 fights, but he was finishing guys within 2 minutes of every single fight that he had, and in spectacular fashion. So a guy coming off the couch, 5-6 days before the fight, taking it that deep, taking him into deep waters. Imagine if Hafez had a full camp for that. Like, he would have absolutely destroyed Della, and going for those guillotines was absolutely ridiculous. He was just I can't get behind a fighter like that. I can't get behind a fighter who's
people saying he was jumping guillotine by my.
He was.
I was watching the fight, and for the most part, he was going for the guillotine after he already was dead to rights.
Yes, pretty much.
It wasn't like jumping guillotine. He was like,
but why do that?
Why
do that? Throw Whizzer in, get your base, and get up.
You're
just accepting back.
No, his game, he was good at reversing. So either way, we're talking about a fight that's 3 weeks old by this point. Let's just move on. I want to take everybody through UFC London real quick, high level. I just want to say, Rafael Filo, I came on the show, the Patreon episode, the After the Weigh-In show. I said, this is my most confident pick of the card. This guy's a beast. He looked great on the scales. I just know he's going to win. And then gave us a real startling in that first round. Took a couple of great shots by Perez. Perez ultimately was a little bit too overconfident in allowing him up and got himself into a bad position, got submitted. Beautiful job by Filo.
I actually think that was the right decision, letting him back up. I think that he was winning the exchanges on the feet. He knows that this guy is really good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You saw what he did to Makayev, took him out of commission. Makayev hasn't fought since. So let's go back in go back in history and correct that decision. And now Filo won that fight because he's back in the cage. He's working already. Makayev, we haven't seen him since. And we probably won't see him for a while.
He's scheduled to fight. He's going to fight Tim Elliott.
Kind of like what Corey Sandhagen said. He's like, TJ Zillashaw's village is still burnt.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm here to fight though. So it's like, yeah, exactly. You can lose a fight, but win the war in terms of getting back out there and climbing the ranks, and while your opponent sits on the sidelines. So remember that.
But can you believe that fight was only 3.5 minutes long? It felt like so much longer with how much action was going on.
Yeah.
That was such a fun fight. Filo is an absolute dog. Somebody I'm very confident putting my money in because he never says die, dude. He was on ice skates that whole first round. And
somebody asked in the Discord, they were like, hey, I just joined in. I had something to do during the day. Is there any fight? Like, should I rewatch the card? And I was like, maybe the first fight of the night. That was a fucking good one. But all the other ones kind of fell short of my expectations, to be honest. I mean, Bruno Brazil got it done. Sorry, you can keep talking about this one. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No. That's pretty much all I had to say.
Fight. It was a great fight. Epic 3 minutes. Bruno Brazil, got it done. Just a fight where you can make the eyeball test and just go. My girlfriend actually said this. We were watching the fight together, and she goes, yeah, that one girl with the hair and the lips and she's like, it's all draws attention away from what you are focusing on in the gym. She's like, at the end of the day, what she said was her exact words were, it takes maintenance to look like that and to portray that. And when you put in the maintenance to have that, then you also want a return, which comes in the form of like the attention on the social media that, these brands and the influencer kind of culture of it all. And what does that do? Well, that fuels you and gives you money, and in a way that makes it so that you don't really need the UFC or to win in mixed martial arts as much. You just need to be there in order to fuel the I'm this, but also that kind of atmosphere of it all, right? So I think that I'm always, we say it all the time on here. It's hard to wake up and go running. What do you say, Alex?
It's hard to wake up and go running when you're taking pictures of your feet.
Exactly.
All day.
So you got like... It's hard to go get up when you're sleeping in silk sheets. Well, it's also hard when you're taking pictures of your feet and your booty. And at the end of the day, we're always going to pick the girl who is completely all in versus.
But shout out to all this
other avenues, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's like, hey, all I'm saying is Shannon Bannon. It's like all we're saying about her. It's like you have other options. It's like a guy coming in with a nuclear physics degree. It's like, dude, just go do nuclear physics. Why are you fighting in
Yeah, but shout out to all the simps in the Discord. They loved everything about this fight. I was championing Bruna Silva. I was like, no, guys, Bannon isn't as hot as Bruna Silva. Bruna Silva is way hotter. She doesn't try as hard. I
agree.
She doesn't try as hard. You guys are crazy, but they had a wager before this, and loser goes to OnlyFans. So the simps in the Discord stuff your sorries in a sack. You're getting everything you wanted.
Exactly. Well, so Ashmoose, guys, this is my fault. So I had him parlayed in about just as many as I had Philo parlayed. I was pretty confident with him as well. He broke his hand or his arm in the fight, I guess.
First round.
Something.
First round, exactly. So really, to me, this is a bad look on Chris Duncan. It's like, dude, if you can't get a one-armed man out of an ass-whooping contest, you're the bitch. So you might have won, but you lost in my view. Yanel won just by sheerly like surviving and like being able to do that. However, he should have been throwing elbows like your eye favor. He should have been trying a little bit harder, not bitching as much. He was wincing. He was bitching.
But it might have been the forearm that was broken, Luke, or the elbow.
Listen, okay. I don't know, Alex, but all I'm trying to say is then quit, but don't wince. Enough wincing. I hate the wincing. He was wincing a lot. They even the commentary team was like, he was wincing on his stool. It's like, oh, he's wincing. But here's the main point I'm trying to make. I was driving in my car. My girlfriend says, look, a dead fox on the side of the road. I look, I'm like, what did you just say? She says, I said a dead fox. And I'm like, do you know that I have a guy with the nickname of Red Fox, and he is severely parlayed in almost every bet that I have, and you just are going to say dead fox like that and point out a dead fox on the side of the road on the day that this fight is going to happen? It was like we're driving back home to watch the fights. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah. Did you think? Did you think about that when you were pointing out omens and trickery? So
Fox probably died with a broken arm and then couldn't provide for itself. That's probably how.
Foxes have legs, Dan.
Yeah,
they don't have
on the
arms.
side of the highway, so he had probably had broken every bone in his body. So yeah. But I was like, dead fox, red fox. And I told myself, Luke, that's crazy. That's pagan nature omen worship. Be a Christian. Go with Christ. Don't trust in omens and signs. Trust in God. And that's what I did. I left all my parlays intact, and I believed he would win the fight. But more and more, I'm thinking I should think a little bit crazier. I should think
God was like, "Hey, moron! I sent you a sign. I gave you the dead fox." Like, that was. I'm not just gonna apart from the clouds and
idol worship. Okay, that's pagan ideology. Listen, I'm trying to tell you that maybe I should start thinking a little bit crazier. Crazy like a fox.
Yeah, or get into your pagan idol worship with Marina Agapova or whatever the hell her name is.
Start putting hexes on the fighters that you're going against.
Dude, me, Aleister Crowley, and Maria Agapova are going to have to go to a castle and drink some blood in order to make to right this tide, so to speak.
Yeah.
But no, actually, I don't believe that. I think that I'm actually doing the best I've ever done. Like I said 3 weeks ago, I'm coming into my prime, and I got the data to back it up. 11 out of 15 last week, 11 out of 13 the week before, 10 out of 13 the week before that. Trending upwards, onward, ever upwards, and I'm more confident than ever in this next card we got. Can't wait to break down UFC 291, but let's just take a break from that and work our way up. UFC Nashville, Bridgestone Arena. This is going to be a card that
Luke, you got to mention that we have to cut Muniz, though.
Oh, we got to keep talking about UFC London for a second. Yeah, for sure. Sorry. We're going to get into UFC Nashville in a bit. Let's just take everybody through the main card. I mean, to me, I'm putting Chris Duncan and Makhmud Murdoch, same fucking boat, guys. Same fucking boat. You couldn't finish bum-ass opponents that they gave you. Bryan Barberena is a guy with double-digit losses coming up in weight, but not actually putting on any muscle or necessarily even any weight. He's just drinking more water, I guess, before he looks the same. Shows up, begging to get his ass kicked, gets dropped, and Makhmud Murdoch, even though he looks like the prototypical badass UFC cage fighter, he fights with no heart, dude. And he even said he's terrified after that GM3 disaster where he lost to GM3 because he didn't have any cardio. He said, all these fighters who keep saying, I underestimated my opponent. How about you all stop that? How about you all just stop it? Because bettors like me who bet that you're going to fucking fade Bryan Barberena and kick his head into the stands are anticipating that, you're going to take him seriously and go in there with your full skills and beat the shit out of him. But if you're sitting here like, well, I'm not going to take him too seriously. I'm going to have that extra margarita and spend the night on the beach and watch the fireworks. Jalen Turner. Hey, Jalen Turner, enough fireworks. He had the audacity to post on his Instagram that he went for a hike in Moab or Arches National Park or some shit. You know what I mean? One of these national parks. And he's like, it's important to get out. It's important to see the world and make sure that you're spending time. I'm like, it's important for you to get your ass back in the gym right now, my friend. Dan Hooker, who looked like Megan Rapinoe having a midlife crisis in there. And he had one eye and one arm, and you couldn't get it done. being a weight bully 2 feet taller than the man. I mean, Jalen Turner, you're one step away from getting cut. You're already cut out of my fucking heart in life. I honestly, Jalen Turner, dude. All right, so I'm just saying, Makhmud Muradov, Jalen Turner, and Chris Duncan, same boat. Not Chris Duncan as much. Only Chris Duncan because had one arm, and he couldn't finish him. Makhmud Muradov, I bet him to finish Bryan Barberena, so that's on me, I guess. But he dropped him several times, had multiple opportunities to jump in and get the finish, but since he's so afraid of gassing out, he doesn't do it, and that's why he'll never beat anybody in the top 10. You give him a guy like, what weight class is that even? 170, 185?
185. You had Bryan Barberena jumping up.
Hamza Chimaev. Watch what fucking happens. He will eat his heart. Makhmud Muradov, he will get his heart eaten by Hamza Chimaev. So.
Muradov being afraid of cardio. I mean, he was gassing out with Bryan Barberena just beating the hell, just sludgingly going towards him, and he was still gassing out. I get it. Like, he had to be backing up.
He was getting Homer Simpson.
Apparently, it makes you more tired than if you would just, stand your ground or move forward. But still, I mean, you can't be getting that gassed out in like the second round after just laying an ass whooping like that.
He almost Homer Simpsoned himself. He almost
You can't make your whole style dependent upon, hey, let me do the thing that's like both Jamal Pogas and Bryan Barberena had the same gripe in their fight. Like, come on, man, let's really fight. It's like, what do you mean really fight? You want me to let you knock me out? Like, what is like? It's like Brian. I hate the fighters who just only think it's a fight if like it's suited to their style, and their style is often like not having any style at all and just being very reckless and fighting like you're in a fucking bar room, right? It's like it's enough. It's really cheapening the product. We need to just like if it's like Bryan Barberena, just fucking keep going forward and get knocked out if you want to entertain the crowd. Don't get mad at him. Like, he's not making it exciting. It's like, takes two to tango, buddy. Get more reckless. Get more reckless.
Go in there like
left. I don't care.
Go in there like the dude from Mississippi or Tennessee, whatever it was. The
Chase Sherman.
No, the guy who barely has any fight experience and knocks guys dead.
Yeah.
Throws hammer fists on the standing up.
Trevor Peak.
Yeah, Trevor Peak.
Yeah. Just show them. It's like, hey, all the fighters who say they want to entertain the audience, come here. Here's how you do it. You literally drain all your energy so that you either knock him out or you have so little energy that you're going to just have to get knocked out. You won't even be able to prevent it, All right.
But Joel Alvarez, textbook headbutt. Textbook.
Loved every second of it. Don't care at all. Headbutts happen. It was.
There was like 3 on the night.
I think it hit him in the ear too. Which, if it hits you in the ear, okay. Well, if an elbow hit you in the ear, same. I mean, I'm from the left way school of thought. Legalize headbutts. And freaking Paul Felder crying at the desk, crying his eyes out. Oh man, I just hate to see this. You hate to see this so much. It's like, no, you don't. I love seeing every single fucking second of it. I want to see Joel Alvarez put his head through everybody in the division. Ram it in there. I don't give a shit. And Paul, how come you were so how come you weren't as outraged about this headbutt as you were against Jared Gordon's headbutt? How come you weren't irate? So you really learned how to control yourself in a week. No, it's like, I love that we were in London for that because we couldn't have Mark Ratner and Jason Herzog because you heard Paul. He's like, I see Mark Ratner and Jason Herzog talking. Maybe we can get this reversed and all Luke's money can be stolen back from him as always. It's like, I'm like, hey, Paul, why don't you keep your mouth shut? Hey, Herzog, why don't you go eat some cheese, you little fucking rat? And Ratner's cool, honestly. I like Mark Ratner. I don't want Mark Ratner to catch any strays, but he's gonna have to catch a little stray here. Sorry, Mark. Mark, why don't you fucking go trim your ear hairs, you old bitch, and get the fuck out of my business because we're trying to win some money over here on Joel Alvarez, okay? It's like
that was unnecessary.
Wins and win bonuses and stuff. It's like, it's a no contest. Now Alvarez doesn't get his win bonus either, okay? But because we weren't in Las Vegas and we were in London, they didn't have any jurisdiction. We just move along. 15 fights on the card. Move it on. Motobakan is getting cold back there. We got to warm it up and get her out. Love it. Love every second of it. So let's talk.
Wait, hold on real quick before we move on. I have a quick Paul Craig joke. My writers got back to me. Some of them, they didn't want to keep striking, so they wanted a little job.
You got some writers? I'm actually on the writer's side now.
Here are my writers. This is what they said. They said Andre Muniz tried to pull the rug from underneath Paul Craig on his London Fight Night card. What he did not realize is that Paul Craig had another rug on top of his head. Do you see he got hair transplants?
I did not.
Oh, dude, his whole head is just a wig.
I literally
Transplanted on.
I didn't see that. I thought.
Do you guys remember Paul Craig when he was like balding, and now all of a sudden he's got these
I
hairs?
guess I don't remember him balding.
I don't objectify men for their bodies and their hair. I don't even think about.
Oh, it was tremendous. It was tremendous.
He snuck it in because Paulo Costa got flamed for getting a hair transplant, but Paul Craig.
Look, they said it on the broadcast team. Sanko brought it up.
Apparently, the technology is very sophisticated nowadays, and men are going to Turkey and they're getting hair transplants, and it is hard to notice it nowadays, right?
Are you doing research personally?
No, I'm not. I'm good. I'm good, baby. I mean, I have a haircut.
Yeah, you're good. All right.
I have a fucking shape up, and I have hat hair. So yeah, it looks a little bit like it's receding, but it's not. It's my hairstyle mixed with the hat hair. But no, I've had the longest hair out of anybody here. I don't lose hair. I'm gonna have gray hair. That's for damn sure. But I will keep a head of hair. And if I have to go bald, I've shaved my head bald before. I look pretty good bald. I look way more intimidating, way more fierce. So. My point is, apparently I won't need to because the technology is so good. Even if it does happen, I'll be able to go to Turkey, get a nice meal, stay at a nice resort, and you come home and you have hair again, apparently. But imagine what it'll be in 20 years. Like, I'm only 30, so it's like I don't really even need to worry about it for another, couple decades.
Go to Turkey, order from Kava.
20 years, I might go there, get a nose job. I might get the whole lot. I might just, come back looking like Voldemort, just 2 slits. Dude, by the way, you're watching that Jack Della fight. That guy's face is fucking flat, dude. He has no profile. You show him from the side, it's just
looks like he got hit in the face with a shovel as a kid or something. I don't know.
It does. Yeah, it does. All right. Well, anyway, we got a couple more fights we need to talk about.
Danny Roberts needs to be cut.
Listen, man. I mean,
that was the dumbest thing ever. You have an 8-inch reach advantage, and you're just getting drawn into a slugger knot. A guy who calls himself the slugger knot. You're gonna throw caution to the wind all of a sudden. No, Danny Hot Chocolate Roberts. Huh?
I'm the only one who picked Johnny Parson, but by that point, I was kind of like, nah, Danny Roberts. I was watching the highlights. I'm like, Danny Roberts is going to fuck this guy up. Look at this pudgy guy. Barely even made weight. I'm like, this guy is going to be fucking getting his ass kicked by Danny for 3 rounds. But then,
and speaking of which, I'm never watching the weigh-ins again because every person I switched on, I switched to the person who lost. Every single one of them, except for Julija, and that was nothing. That had nothing to do with the weigh-ins.
Alex, your original picks:
Parsons.
You had Kyanzad, you had Roberts, you had
I had Parsons. I had Parsons. I had Parsons.
You did not have Parsons, homie. You had. I'm looking at them.
Your data is flawed and skewed, Luke.
Jacoby certified Roberts the first time, and then I switched to Parsons.
I switched from Chris Duncan to Yanal. I switched from Parsons to Hot Chocolate Roberts.
We Trilby certified originally. We Trilby certified originally.
Luke, you are looking at the fucking updated bet sheet, my man.
Let's not even get into this because the audience doesn't like when we fight. Okay, so let's just not do it because honestly,
I was making a point and you started calling me out. You were like, no.
I'm the only one who watches while you guys are listing your picks. I'm fucking recording them in the spreadsheet. So I don't know what list you have, but I have the one of whatever you said.
Do you have both? Is there 2 lists or 1?
I have 2. I always keep 2. I keep the original list, and then I keep if there's any switches. The final say list is the second show.
Whatever. And I also switched from Marcos to Grant for whatever reason, and that was also a bad pick.
Yep, you did switch from Marcos to Grant, but that wasn't bad because, dude, he was the underdog. And he fought to a split decision that a lot of people think he won. So ultimately, it was you guys got kind of robbed a little bit there. When I was watching the fight, Grant had become a favorite in the 3rd round, and he also was leading on the stat sheets. I heard you guys talking about that one a little bit. I just want to say, Grant fights like fucking George St. Pierre until he gets a bloody nose. Like there should be a mythical fighter called Bloody Nose Grant, and it's like every fight he's in where he gets a bloody nose, everything falls the fuck apart, and he just starts losing. Like it's crazy. But I was doing the dishes to that fight, so I couldn't really get too mad. Next we got Murphy, Leroy and the Miracle Murphy. So proud of him. What a tough fight to have. Josh Quiblau, somebody you got to be perfect with from bell to bell. He went 3 with him, was in dangerous spots with him at times, managed to pull through, put Quiblau in dangerous spots. Have epic moments, have those big moments that guarantee he's going to win that round, right? Big takedown moments, big back takes, big drops, big punches, really just all around being the miracle, the fucking Miracle Murphy. And little Nate Wood better shut his little twerp mouth, because the Murphy Miracle is gonna fuck Nate Wood up if he wants to keep piping up with his little twerp mouth, because we're not hearing it on the Miracle side of things. He's truly undefeated. He's a badass. The Miracle is the true representative of European and Londish MMA, if you ask me. So,
well, I think the only other person you could argue that is, the champion Leon Scott, and I thought he looked a lot like Leon in that fight. He did everything right.
Leon's not going to be the champ for much longer. Colby's hunting his ass down.
Oh yeah.
Colby's going to hunt him down bad. So yeah, I mean, Leroy and Murphy was and Tom Aspinall were the standouts of the local scene on this card, if you ask me, and Davey Grant a little bit. They all really did really well. But I'm going to go ahead and say, Jai Herbert, Faraz Ziam. I picked Ziam. Alex picked Ziam. Dan picked Herbert. But really close fight, good fight. Ziam looked great in there, though.
And like we said, virtually identical going into.
Anything you guys want to say about Murphy? I mean, that to me, Leroy Murphy is just consummate professional and somebody that I always want to run to the window and bet. And I mean, I think we could bet him all the way to the belt, undefeated champ. Like, seriously,
spectacular, absolutely spectacular.
Dan? 145. Like, it's so funny too. Like Nate Wood, you really want this smoke. Like, you barely beat Andre Feely, who was coming in off a long ass flight, and even he dropped your ass and rocked your ass and drug you all around that ring and pretty much beat your ass, if you ask me. We ship in one of our scrubbiest California Americans, and no disrespect to Andre Feely, I love Andre Feely, but lately he has not performed like he's got his head in the game. Let's just say that. And that's
have you seen his band? What do you mean?
That's what I'm saying. He's put on a JV level because but not because like I said, we did a whole detailed, even though it should be certified wood, we did a whole detailed breakdown of this situation with Feely, which is just like, it's hard to feel unproductive when you do as much as he does and are as much of a alpha badass as he is. But ultimately, we need more from him. We need more from him. If he wants to be a representative in the division 145, he wants to represent and get our support towards the belt. We need more. We need consistency. We need him to show us through his body, right, through his physique, that he is looking for a fucking title shot, looking for a win at 145. Who's even the champ at 145? It's wide open right now.
Pound for pound.
But Volkanovski's going to be out of here soon, dude. He's going up. He's not going to be at 45 all day long. After Volk's gone, Feely could fight Holloway. Feely could fight Arnold Allen. Feely could fight Calvin Kattar. Feely could fight Rob Font. Feely could fight a lot of guys.
Aljamain Sterling's coming up, though.
I don't know why I said Rob Font. He's at 135. But
Aljamain Sterling's coming up to 45 soon, though.
Okay, but that's still Feely versus Sterling. I like that. I like that way more than Volkanovski, because Feely's a wrestler, dude. People forget. I love how I was just saying that Feely is fighting at a scrub level, and like I'm trashing Feely now. I'm like, Feely can beat Aljamain Sterling. I'm like saying it's because I really love Feely. I really do love Feely. All right, so we showed me certified wood. That was great. Paul Craig, Dan, you jumped ship onto Paul Craig, and I really wanted to go with you. Muniz is all but dead to me. Alex, you want to cut him? I mean, to me, it's like, if your thing is I fight and I win by submissions and I submitted Jacare, ooh, I'm the submission guy, and then you end up getting mounted by a Scotsman, I mean, how are you going to go back to Brazil as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, and you're out here like the two gringos of all gringos, Arnold Allen from Louisiana and Paul Craig from Scotland, fucking dominated you in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Like, how can you go back to Brazil? That would be like Joey Chestnut getting beat in a hot dog eating contest. I mean, seriously, that would be like if Andre Muniz beat Joey Chestnut in a hot dog eating contest. That would be like that. I mean, it would be. I mean,
on top of that, the thing that, if you guys have ever been to a jiu-jitsu class, the thing that everybody always tells you in jiu-jitsu is how great it is for defense, and how the main thing in jiu-jitsu is that the smaller guy can beat up the bigger guy. And we got a bigger guy coming down from 205 right now to 185 with less credentials than you, not as good at jiu-jitsu as you, just ragdolling you around. Yes, Muniz had his moments in the beginning for sure, but that can't happen. You can't get mounted and grounded and pounded. Okay? The thing is, your defense needs to be there. That is jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu 101. Get back to guard. Don't just ball up. Don't ball up and let him bounce elbows off your head. That was rough. That was a rough one for me. I actually was pissed because DK didn't take some of my action. I placed the bet. It didn't go through. And that would have been the only thing that would have lost on that parlay. I had Wood, Muniz, over 2.5 Ziam Herbert, over 2.5 Grant Marcos, and then the Miracle.
I'm sorry, I can't even hear this shoulda, coulda, woulda stuff with the whole like DraftKings won't take my money. Like you're just too. I don't know.
Luke. What is the whole top of the episode every single week? If not, woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Oh well, I had this parlay that if a
Bro,
snake.
I just think if there's a bet I want to place, I find a way to place it.
No, I placed it and it didn't go through. I had the money in.
You guys hear this? Like, audience, do you guys hear this? This is like dog eat my homework type shit. Like,
no, I was pissed at first, but then Muniz lost, so I was like, oh, saved me money.
My Wi-Fi is down. Like, teacher, my Wi-Fi is down. Like, can I get an extension? Like, I don't even know what this is. I don't even know why you're lying or whatever this is. This is crazy. Anyway.
You saw it in the Discord, ladies and gentlemen. I was pumped about the overs, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, my girl asked me, what's your cash out? I go to look, the bet didn't go through. Bad connection. Problem of living in the sticks.
So we came on the show, the free show. We came on the free show and gave the early breakdown, main card and prelims, and we all were like, yeah, Molly McCann, Dave Portnoy, Barstool, UFC, propaganda, blah, 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 blah. We said all the talking points that you probably heard everywhere else, and we were like, yeah, I mean, the UFC obviously wants her to win, and like they put her as a co-main event for a reason, and they want that audience to be hype and all this stuff, and we said all those things, and then the show ended and I started thinking and I was like, well, the UFC sometimes actually doesn't give a fuck, you know what I mean? And I think it's actually like we just like to think that there's this like conspiracy invisible hand all the time, but sometimes like you got to remember, right? Pro wrestling, the UFC models itself off of WWE, so pro wrestling it doesn't have their fans always like, oh. It takes the fans on a roller coaster of emotions, right? So Dana and the UFC and the WME and the IMG and all the people, ESPN and the Disney Corporation, they all understand that you have to take them on a roller coaster. You can't just always give the people in London what they want. You got to sometimes give them exactly what they don't want. You know what I mean? Make them feel something negative and then bring them back up with Tom Aspinall. So
it's the bloody hero's arc. It's just like Pinocchio. It's
the bloody hero's journey. Okay. We might get removed for that. So no, actually I was just thinking about this, boys. Let's just say whatever we want on the YouTube show forever, because I'm not even going to monetize this channel, and let's just leave it unmonetized. And then we'll always be under the radar and no one will ever take our channel down. Right. Because that's like the whole thing everyone bitches about. Like, oh, we might get demonetized. So I'm like, we're not even monetized because I didn't click the button. So let's just not click the button. Go to the Patreon if you want to support the show. It'll always remain ad-free until I change my mind. But yeah, it's like, we're just going to do it this way. And then we can say whatever we want. We can do
fuck yeah, balls, pussy, cock.
Oh, easy. You still got to represent yourself. That's the thing. Like, that's the thing I'm trying to tell you and explain to you. So you're still representing yourself. You know what I mean? So just like do that well. No, just kidding, folks. This is not a man, but an idea. The Euro Under King is sort of like an enigma wrapped in a metaphor.
It's a character I play.
Anyway, we tried to be certified Molly McCann, but then I thought about it. I was like, the true one where the true area where the fix is in is Tom Aspinall. That's where the fix is in, right? They give him Marcin Tybura, they give him the fix. It's like, yeah, Aspinall's gonna blaze through this unathletic, tubby, barrel-chested, round, rotund, cylindrical man. He's gonna just, and that's exactly what he did, right? So I'm like, okay, Aspinall guaranteed gets a finish, but that was minus 350. So that was, the only way you could really bet that fight and probably get underdog odds is if you took it like to the minute. But
knockout first round.
If you went Tom round one, it was plus 100. I think it probably was still like minus 130. But either way, I took Starlenko to win by finish, just in case she got, was going for the armbar, but then just started hammer fisting her, just like Paul Craig, right? Paul Craig technically won by knockout, plus 1,200 odds or something like that. So Starlenko by finish, Aspinall by finish. It was a $200 bet to pay like $950. So with the 200 I put out, it like paid back like the 500 I had bet that day or whatever it was. And
how much money do you make? Are you keeping all the Patreon dollars? Is
No,
this what's going on?
I had a couple good weeks, so I had gambling winnings.
Are we getting rused in a contest type of situation right now where Dan and I never get any Patreon money and then Luke bets with it all? I'll put it back.
I also have a large cachet, not large, but I have a cachet of cryptocurrency that I can sometimes sell bits of to use for gambling purposes. Because I look at crypto as a gamble anyway, so it's like it's all kind of the same bucket. It's like crypto's a gamble, gambling's a gamble. So if I ever need to peel some off the crypto tree, I can peel some off the crypto tree and gamble with it. So that's kind of when I'm gambling irresponsibly at times. Like that's often like where the show where it comes from. You know what I mean? But. Yeah, I needed to gamble a little irresponsibly. I was down, and I was like, I don't want to lose $500. So I was like, what do I need to bet in order to win something? You know what I mean? And the answer was $200. Is what I needed to bet, and that is a lot of money on a 2-fight parlay, which one of them is an underdog to get a finish. But I really thought about it, and I was like, Molly McCann has new teeth. She's got a new deal with Barstool. I thought about the Bannon fight. I said, just like Bannon. This new lifestyle requires maintenance. Maintenance requires attention outside of the gym. And then I thought Molly McCann loses in the exact way this girl wins. This girl's big as shit. She's not going to get bullied by no Molly McCann. This is the fight of her life, co-main event of her career, opportunity for her. She's in a must-win situation. It all made sense. It became a very responsible decision. Did
you see during Patty the Baddie's Q&A, somebody asked him if him and Molly ever shagged?
I did not. Oh, I did see the clip, but I didn't watch the Q&A in its entirety. Yeah.
What did you have? What made you spark up?
I love that because, dude, I love that. I love to see how dumb the fans are, and I want every fan to start betting, baby. Because when you are that dumb and you're betting, that's how we get Juji Starlenko at underdog odds. That's how we get these Driscus Duplessis at 3-1. That's how we get this shit when these dumbasses bet on their favorite fighters. And they love their favorite fighters, and they cheer them on. That's how we get Alex Morono as a dog against Cowboy Cerrone back in the day. That's how we get these great opportunities that are just as clear as day. And there's some of them on the UFC 291 card that we've already discussed. I believe Michelle Pereira versus Wonderboy is one of them. I mean, to me, a 27-year-old versus a 41-year-old at the 170-pound weight class in a battle that we know is going to be a striker's battle is.
I don't know. I feel like that's
one of them is crazy as fuck. And doesn't care about Wonder Boy's little punches. It's literally Driscus versus Whitaker all over again. It's the same fucking fight, and everyone is gonna do the same thing. I mean, we're not getting as much value, right? Like we're only slight dog territory because Robert Whitaker is like a god to these nerds. These nerds, they love Robert Whitaker. They revere him like a deity. It's crazy. So. I got nothing else to say about the card. Aspinall did his job. I'm the perfect bettor for Tom Aspinall. I bet that Curtis Blades would beat him. I got him as an underdog, and I bet that Tom Aspinall would finish Tybura. It got me out of a hole. Thank you, Tom Aspinall. I am the puppet master. I know exactly what's going to happen in your life before you do. But yeah, Muniz should be cut. That's all I'll say. I think if you're going to cut anybody, you cut Muniz. You cut Jamal Puagas. You cut
Roberts.
I don't need.
At least it was a fun fight.
Yeah, dude, awesome. you got knocked.
Maybe even Molly McCann too. Honestly,
I mean, I would love to keep betting against Molly McCann.
Well, I guess that could be said about anybody that you wish would get cut. By the way,
speaking of Molly McCann, did you guys see that Jessica Andrade came out and said that the reason she lost to Erin Blanchard, she's typically, I'm not making excuses. Okay, followed by excuse, right? And she's like, well, my shirt was slipping down, and it broke my focus for a second, and that's why Erin was able to submit me or whatever. It's like Erin was going to submit you no matter what. Okay, first of all, whether you liked it or not, Erin was going to submit you, no matter what, no matter how focused you were. Okay, we could have given you all the Adderall in what's his name's office, and you wouldn't have fucking made it out of that fight. Erin Blanchfield is cold-blooded. But that being said, Jessica Andrade has an OnlyFans. So it's like,
well, Luke, you want to keep it behind the paywall.
Gotta keep. You're very, very true. All right, I stand corrected. All right.
But you wanted to talk
into thinking you're bashful now.
You wanted to talk about the hot news of this week. Paulo Costa off of this Saturday's card and now fighting Khamzat Chimaev.
I love it. Anybody says, "Oh, Paulo Costa is scared of Ikram Aliskriov," it's like, all right, well, he just picked the other guy everybody thinks everybody's scared of. So, I love Paulo Costa. He's a G. This is a G move, and I think he sees something in Chimaev that we're not seeing. I think he sees a small guy coming up in weight. I think he sees a skinny guy who can't wrestle his big powerlifting ass for 3 rounds. I think he thinks he won't get submitted. And I think he'll wear his ass out and knock him out like Burns almost did. I mean, Costa is like a more jacked with no jiu-jitsu Gilbert Burns, but Burns doesn't use his jiu-jitsu, so who cares, you know? It's like Costa kind of is Burns, but bigger and a better striker and like more powerful and like crazier, you know? And I just hope Paulo Costa misses weight by 15 pounds, comes in weighing 200, and just says, "Yeah, it's your personal problem."
And the beauty of it is that Khamzat's probably going to come in at 170 this fight. That fucking idiot. He never knows where he's fighting. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's going to come in at 170, sucked out, and Paulo Costa's going to run through him like a hot knife through butter.
It reminds
And Luke, you said a G move. That's a top G move. Paulo Costa officially has taken the throne as the top G, as far as I'm concerned.
You guys got to watch Paulo Costa's Sigma male grind set when he fought Vittori. Some guy did a breakdown of like their press conference. It was so funny. I remember watching that press conference when it was happening and just being like, "This is the craziest thing I've ever seen." Brett Okamoto not able to keep control at all, and just Marvin Vittori, like Sean Strickland said, is just so one way. He's like a particular friend we have when he's blacked out drunk. You know what I mean? Like power of suggestion to the max, Jedi mind trick to the max. You can just convince him of anything. It's crazy. So, all right.
That was very rude to say about your dear friend.
Say their fucking name. I can say their fucking name. None of our friends watch the show. They're not even supportive at all. I love how we literally got this audience, this whole show, this whole empire that we're building out of the fucking mud, as Alex would say, as the Zoomers would say. We got it out the mud. Okay. Nobody in our family, except maybe 2 people, watch the show in our family. All right. And it's out of love, not even out of, they don't actually know they both do gamble. All right. Anyway, let's move on.
One more thing. Sean Strickland versus Israel Adesanya. What do you guys think about that action? The Chinese champ versus the American bad boy, the American History X, Sean Strickland.
Is it actually going down? Do we have a date?
I don't know. Not yet, but
not yet.
I don't know. I don't want to see Strickland lose. I think he would lose that.
Oh, it's for Sydney. It's for the Sydney card in August or September.
Yeah. I don't think Strickland will lose. I mean, I think that over 5 rounds with Strickland's volume and persistence and ability to grapple, I think he beats Israel, like just with sheer work ethic and persistence. And then it sets up a whole, and that'll set up a whole annoying thing with like the whole Druskus Israel super fight that everybody wanted to see, like in Africa or in South Africa. And yeah, it's very interesting. So we'll see. I think Strickland could win. I'd be interested in what the Strickland betting odds would be. Because Strickland said, he's like, I got to fight him like Gastelum did. He's like, honestly, I fuck up Kelvin when he comes into training. He's like, so that's what he said. So
Sean Strickland.
I could be swayed. Swayed to the Strickland side. Like that.
Basically, I think
I don't want my UFC fighters wearing dresses. You know, that's the thing though. Unless they're in the ladies division, they're allowed to wear as many dresses as they want. But Israel Adesanya walking around wearing dresses, painting his nails like Bam Bam Barberena, he's gonna get Bam Bammed on like Barberena.
I mean, he's like Harry Styles. If you ask me, they should protest him. He's baiting, as they say, right? He's baiting. All right, so let's just get into it, man. I want to just start next week's card. We have a really decent offering, free card at a Nashville. What time is it starting to? Let's check. Something tells me this one's going to start earlier. I don't know why. I like the London one. Let's see.
6 p.m.
A little bit earlier. Prelims?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, that says prelims. Yeah, there's no early prelims on the 12 fight card, I guess. So we got a couple fights that aren't going to make it. Looks like Sean Woodson was originally supposed to fight Steve Garcia. Nifty Steve withdrew. Umar Nurmagomedov pull out Merchant Numero Dos, Trace, whatever you want to call him. He pulled out. And I love Umar, but he's Shame on you. OSP was going to be on the card versus Ian Kutalaba, but St. Preux withdrew. Tiger Ulanbekov was going to fight Jake Hadley. He pulled out too, just like his cousin Umar. Said Nurmagomedov was going to fight Kyler Phillips. Nurmagomedov withdrew. This is why I thought originally this might be a Russian visa issue type thing, but no, apparently it was an injury, a shoulder injury that Nurmagomedov had. So I don't know if they're all just like, no.
He's ducking. He's ducking.
Sandhagen is a fucking monster, dude. He literally barked him down. Dude, Sandhagen is like, I don't know. He's the man. He's gonna get that belt before all is said and done.
You're a Sandhagen guy now, huh? I thought you hated Sandhagen. I thought he was on a list or something.
I love him now. He won my respect. He literally won my respect over. Okay,
guys, this is a clear case of Abu Dhabi's coming up. UFC Abu Dhabi in September is coming up.
Right, that's hilarious.
Or October's coming up. All right, let the Nurmagomedov boys take a night off. Okay, let's send them to Abu Dhabi.
I mean, but the UFC loves nothing more than having leverage over fighters and having them have to be in a position. Like, here's how it kind of works for you guys who don't know. UFC offers you a fight. They have to offer you 3 fights a year. If they don't, they have to pay you for the fights they didn't offer you. So they have to offer you 3. Now, you basically got 3 chances in a year to, they offer you Hamzat Chimaev. You're like, I ain't fighting that bitch. Say no. Okay, now you're only going to get 2 fights offered to you in the year. They're not going to offer you an extra one because you said no. So next one, you think the opponent's going to be someone easier than Chimaev? Think again. They're going to offer you somebody less famous and harder. Okay? You say no. Now I'm still rehabbing the shoulder. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll talk to you at the end of the year. All right, yeah, we got this last fight for you. Hamzat again. And then there you go. Oh, all right. I turn that down. Turn it down. Cool. Next year you got 3 fights. They're going to stall you on that first one. They're not going to offer it for you for like the first 6 months of that new year. And they'll pay your ass. They'll like literally offer you 2 and just pay you for the one and be like, oh, hey, sorry, we made it to the end of the year. We didn't have a fight for you. Here's your $30,000 to show. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we couldn't find you a fight, sorry, but you didn't get any airtime, and the fans don't know who you are, and it's another year gone by. And so it's like you got to take the fights that you're given. But sometimes the fighters have leverage over them, and you think they don't bend them over a barrel? You think Kevin Holland and Nate Diaz and Tony Ferguson and Hamzat Chimaev and all that switcheroo that happened that night, you think they didn't bend the UFC over a fucking barrel and milk them like cows? They did, So it's like, whoever has the gun points it at the other, but the fighters who work with the UFC, I think long-term do better. And even if you don't make all the money in the cage, those guys are the ones who make it out of the cage at the commentary desks with those cushy little no-show jobs or, show up and have fun.
Or you become a prime athlete. Joaquin Buckley, shout out, salute.
Salute, yeah. Okie dokie, Artichoke. Let's get into it. Honey Barcelos versus Kyler Phillips. This is UFC Nashville breakdown, everybody. We are going to break it down from prelims to main card, bottom to top, taking you through the whole card. UFC Nashville is on 12 fights from bottom to top. Honey Barcelos taking on Kyler Phillips at 135. Kyler Phillips, a prospect. The Matrix is a prospect. He gets it in with those guys, Joe Schilling, Cowboy Cerrone, gets it in down there, Phoenix, Arizona, at the MMA lab sometimes too. Ultimately, got a submission against Marcelo Rojo in his last time out. Marcelo Rojo 16-7. This was a year and 3 months ago, guys. Hasn't been in there since. I don't know if it was because of injury or what. Maybe somebody could look that up, why he's been out for a year and 3 months. But before that, he did lose a majority decision to Julian Paiva, very close fight. But somebody that Sean O'Malley had no problem dispatching, right? So before that, decision victory against Song Yadong. Somebody, Corey Sandhagen, had no problem dispatching. And KO against Cameron Els, and a decision victory against 8-1 Gabriel Silva. But that was 3 years ago by this point. So 28-year-old Kyler Phillips, don't love that he's been off for a year. But
well, Luke, he was actually pulled from a matchup on March 11th, UFC Fight Night bout against Rafael Sunzao because he failed a drug test. He was suspended by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Per Mark Ramundi via ESPN.com. I cited myself. Let me dig a little deeper.
While you do that, I just want to say, I don't know what I hate more, a guy taking a year and 3 months off due to a failed drug test, which could even out and be beneficial. It's like, hey, maybe he got some good juice in and it got time to ferment and marinade, and now he's getting some residual jackness off of it even a year later. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's got some picograms still in his system. But do I hate that more, or do I hate Honey Baloney coming in 6 months after getting KO'd by Umar? Honey Baloney, obviously a really great fighter. He had a good win against Trevin Jones, looked like a world beater. But before that, dropped a loss, dropped it to Victor Henry, dropped it to Smarvaliev. Last win, besides the Trevin Jones win, was to Khalid Taha. So really not the highest caliber. I'm kind of inclined to bet the guy with the 5-inch reach, the guy with the 8-year youth advantage, and the guy coming off a nice long steroid vacation. So give me Kyler Phillips, the Matrix. I don't need to know what he failed his drug test for. Ostriches. Made from ostriches, Alex.
I thought it was made from Rachel Ostovich.
Austrian. Let's see. What are the Austrian?
All right. Luke, what was your pick while you're digging in a little deeper?
He did Phillips.
Phillips. Yeah, I mean, I also want to take Phillips too. He's younger. He's the hot prospect. He comes in with the cool shades, the cool braids. I would love to take Kyler Phillips here, but I just think Barcelos is a little bit too game. I think that Kyler Phillips, I mean, you look at the guys he's fought, it's only been Marcelo Rojo, Julian Paiva, Yadong Song. I mean, Yadong Song is pretty damn good. Cameron Else, Gabriel Silva, like these aren't the highest names that you can find in the UFC. Where Barcelos' last loss was to Nurmagomedov. Phillips was supposed to fight Nurmagomedov, but this was a last-minute replacement. Yeah, I'll just roll with Kyler Phillips on this one, just because it's last minute.
No Triple P certification. Riding with my boy Hani Barcelos on the Brazilian national wrestling team. So I think that's going to negate any of the volume wrestling that Phillips likes to employ.
They've never had anybody win a medal ever.
Doesn't matter. He's still a great wrestler, as we can tell by his numerous matches in the UFC. He's a great wrestler. I think he's going to have a better game plan, too, than Phillips. Phillips, he doesn't really have a rhyme or reason when he's in there. He's like, I'm going to be younger, faster, throw with more volume, throw as many takedowns as I can in there. Whereas I feel like Barcelos is not going to be overwhelmed by that. He's a UFC vet. This is a big leap up in competition for Phillips. I remember thinking that he lost that Song Yadong fight. I remember most people thinking that. So good performance, but I think the experience and gamesmanship of Barcelos are going to win the day in this one.
All right, so Nacho will be certified. We go to the second fight on the card. We got Sean the Sniper Woodson, 31 years old, taking on 31-year-old Jesse Butler. Sean Woodson's going to be only 3 inches taller in this matchup. We know Sean is a big-time featherweight weight bully, one of the biggest freaks of nature at the featherweight weight class. But this is another weight bully coming down from 155 now. Man, this one screams Woodson by KO. I mean, the Sniper is so deadly, so dangerous. 9-1-1, coming off a split draw, was it? Against Luis Saldana last time? Was it a draw, split decision draw? So, he lost to Juicy J by Darce choke in round 3. That was kind of like a Homer Simpsoning. That was kind of like an amazing blood, guts, heart job by Arosa there. But overall, with wins over Terrence McKinney by flying knee, Kyle Bochniak, Yusuf Salal, Colin Anglin, really, really solid resume from Woodson, even though he only has 9 fights, 3-1 in the UFC, 1-0 in the Contender Series. He's got 3 wins by knockout. I think he easily goes in there and fucks up Jesse, either by decision or by knockout. I think Jesse Butler, he just got knocked out by Jim Miller a month ago, guys. So what do you, I mean, I kind of said it all, I think. What do you guys think?
Luke, where was that alien found in those people's backyard?
Vegas.
I think it was Nevada.
All right, let's run the timeline. Let's make sure Sean Woodson wasn't cornering somebody that night, because otherwise I've got it open and shut case. It was Sean Woodson in your backyard. Luke, you're right. He is a freak. He is an alien, too long of arms, too big of a head on too small of a body. Sean Woodson is freakish, disgusting, some would even say. I'm going to go with Sean Woodson here. I think this, Jesse Butler was actually a last-minute replacement. Yes, for Jared Gordon for that fight. So I'm pretty sure wasn't he pulled off of that card because he said he got a concussion from the headbutt?
I'm not sure if it was this one or a previous one.
Luke, you're
muted,
you're
Lukey.
muted.
He said he had I think it was in training, but to me, I'm like, well, yeah, you probably had a concussion in training because you trained so soon after getting a concussion by Bobby King Green. And yeah, it's like same thing with Jesse Butler. It's like Jesse Butler just got knocked out 7 weeks ago.
And that was 7 weeks ago?
It was a month and 2 weeks, it says here.
Yeah, I'll go with Sean Woodson. I mean, he doesn't really have a lot of dog in him, but I'll go with Sean Woodson.
Sean Woodson is from the hard streets of St. Louis. He's got a ton of dog in him. I love this guy. If you look at the gram, he's always just like out running, out actually living the lifestyle, as we talked about from the UFC London card. Some of the fighters not doing that. Woodson is actually walking the walk, talking the talk, doing the whole damn thing. Love the boxing, super clean, and of course those physical intangibles are just absolutely ridiculous. As Luke said, freak show, freak in nature, whatever it was, alien like. Sean Woodson all the way, Triple P certified.
Love it, boys, love it. So Jake Hadley taking on Cody Durden, man. What do we do here? I mean, Jake Hadley only loss to Alan Nascimento, who I believe is a Charles Oliveira prodigy. He's going to be 5 years younger than Cody Durden. This fight's happening stateside in Tennessee. Stateside in Tennessee in front of an American audience. And we know Cody Durden is the type to rise to the occasion when it comes to that. But will it be enough against one of Flyweight's biggest prospects coming off the Contender Series, the bad boy, White Kong, Jake Hadley? What do you guys think?
I love Jake Hadley. I love him in this matchup as well. I think that Durden is a last-minute replacement. Seems as though Hadley was scheduled to fight Tagir Ulanbekov. So that kind of goes to show what the UFC thinks of Hadley. If you take a look at his last fight, I believe it was Hadley, the shot to the body shot, just ripping it in there for the KO. Very impressive. And that's one of the things I really love about this guy. He goes to the body, goes to the head, varies up the attacks. He's got 100% takedown accuracy. He can really do it all. I think this guy is a rising contender. He should be fighting within, the top 5 territory relatively soon, I think. Again, this is a last-minute replacement fight for Durden, who I think he's biting off a lot more than he could chew in this matchup. So, Jake Hadley.
Did you go, Luke?
Yeah, not yet, but I'll just make it quick. I'm going to go with Hadley as well. I just think he's better everywhere. However, the short notice factor, I think, is what's going to tip it over more so than anything else. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem here is I would love to take Durden just because it's a very big style discrepancy in between the two opponents that Hadley was scheduled for. I mean, Tagir Ulanbekov, he wouldn't know a takedown if it hit him in the face. And Cody Durden, all he's going to try to do is take you down and wrestle you. Tagir Ulanbekov, he's more of a striking Russian, no?
He gets some takedowns. He definitely wrestles.
Look up his stats real quick.
I'm looking at him. He had 5 takedowns in his first fight, 4 in the second, 2.
All right.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know shit. I thought he was a striking guy just because he was like really skinny and long. And
no, you know who you're thinking of? You're thinking of Said Nurmagomedov.
Okay. Yes, I
you
could easily. Yeah. I said it was Nurmagomedov.
Yeah. That's right.
All right. Well, I don't know. I feel like Jake Hadley welcomes takedowns, and that might not be a good way to win the fight, and he might end up losing a decision. But I just feel like Cody Durden off the couch is going to end up finding himself in a precarious position on the ground while he's a little gassed against a guy who's been preparing for this fight for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think Durden has overachieved a little bit in his career. I like him as a guy. I like him as a fighter. He's a dog, but I think that his skill set is a little bit overvalued at this point.
Alex, I'm definitely with you on the accepting takedowns, though. I didn't like how Hadley is complacent off his back. But maybe he learned his lesson losing in that way. Okay, so we got Jeremiah Wells versus Carlston Harris. Wow, kind of an open and shut case for me, I think. But what do you guys think?
We're talking about the Jeremiah Wells fight.
Yep, Jeremiah
Gotta
Wells
rock with
PA 12-2, taking on Carlston Harris. Mozambique 18-5 out of Guyana, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He's coming off that win 3 months ago against Jared Gooden by decision. Before that, got knocked out by Shavkat Rakhmonov. And before that, was able to string together a bunch of finishes in his debut and his subsequent fight. Christian Aguilera, he submitted him with an anaconda 2 years ago in his debut, followed by knocking out Impa Casagne after that. Then, yes, as we said, got knocked out by Shavkat, followed by decision victory 3 months ago. He's 36 years old. This fight's taking place at welterweight, and he's going to be significantly taller and longer than Jeremiah Wells. 6 foot tall, 76-inch reach up against Jeremiah's 5'9", 74-inch reach. Enzo Gracie Philly. A lot of good things to be said about that gym. Jeremiah Wells coming off a suspect win, split decision against Matt Semmelsberger. Really, if you think about it, that was the same fight as Madalena versus Hafez. Because
the wrestler won.
Exactly. And that's why we need more consistency. Because if you're going by the way they judge Madalena versus Hafez, you would have given that fight to Semmelsberger because he damaged the fuck out of Wells in every round. And Wells really only got control on the ground. He didn't really get any damage off. So I'm going with Wells here because I know how tough Semmelsberger is. I know how tough, and I know that Wells can finish guys when they're bad, and then he decisions guys when they're good. I think this one could go to decision, but I think being from Guyana, being from Brazil, he's going to welcome the takedowns. He's going to not really be able to defend the takedowns. Wells is going to be able to dominate in the grappling in this fight. That's how he gets the win, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I was a little suspect at first after Jeremiah Wells' last fight. We saw that on the feet, he might be a little suspect against a guy who can defend the takedown. I think that Carlston Harris is a lot more of a striker than a wrestler. And I think that long body is just going to get taken down like just knocking down a couple of sticks. I did at first kind of lean Carlston, but you got to remember how tough a son of a bitch Semmelsberger is. And I feel like a big part in Wells' lack of success in that fight on the feet was because he was getting stuffed like every time he would go for a takedown. I feel like Semmelsberger is a big, beefy guy, can stuff those takedowns, wrestled a little bit, played football. Carlston Harris isn't going to have that in his bag of tricks. I'm going with Jeremiah Wells as well. I'm going back to the Wells on this one.
Yeah, this is a really great fight. I'm trying to, analyze my bias on this one for the Philly guy in Jeremiah Wells. I still think, even putting that to the side, that he should get the nod in this one. Carlston Harris he's putting together some quality wins throughout his entire career. He's got a win over Michel Pereira. He's got wins over, Impa Casagne and Christina Aguilera. I know he hates to be called that, but, he got caught up that anaconda choke. So Harris has got a ton of finishes on his career, but Wells, I think he'll stand up nicely against him. Not sure how I would go as far as finish or, take it all the way to a decision, but I'm just going to play it safe, play the money line on Wells.
You know what? I actually think I might want to switch, give people a look on Harris, because at the end of the day, Wells took a lot of damage in that Semmelsberger fight. Harris is probably going to bring a lot more striking than Semmelsberger, and he probably has comparable takedown defense. Semmelsberger wasn't a wrestler. He was a football player type guy, I think. So I'm going to go with Harris here, actually, because I think Wells is a little bit shinny coming off just 2 months ago, that absolute barn burner with Semmelsberger, it was a one-sided ass beat, and he took a lot of damage in that fight. So I think he wants to get back in quick. But I'm gonna go with Harris. I might switch when he gets closer if I see a weigh-in But yeah, I got to see the line too. I mean, I'm not gonna take Harris at minus 250 or something. Something disrespectful. But I imagine this is kind of minus 130 plus 110 range.
Yeah,
I drank one of these horrible plant-based bullshits. I cannot stop.
I thought it was chocolate milk.
Oh, dude, it's like a protein drink with maca or something, but it's like not good, dude. It's like I'm almost throwing it up. Anyway, Billy Quarantillo, Damon Jackson, a really exciting fight. Wow, I mean, it's the best hair of the division versus the worst hair of the division. Speaking of balding guys, candidate for Turkish hair transplant, Damon Jackson, big time balding dude, but we love the leash here. We love Action Jackson. What are we gonna do here, boys? It's hard for me to ever,
Wasn't he the leech?
He was the leech, but now he's Action Jackson. I think his lead Jing Liang is the leech.
I don't think you have much more action than Billy Quarantillo. I think that this is a parlay pillar for sure in my books. Quarantillo probably not going to be taken down, maybe a little bit in that first round, but he'll survive. His jiu-jitsu is good enough. And then, just like the typical Billy Q playbook, rounds 2 and 3 are his. He's just going to be putting on the volume. I don't think Jackson is good enough of a striker to, withstand what Billy Q's got going on. So I'll check out the line, but this one looks pretty solid to me. Billy Q.
Yeah, but Alex, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I think that this matchup is a good matchup. I think that Billy Q has the more well-rounded game for MMA. I think that the leech, yes, he can get some good strikes off every now and then, but mostly he's a jiu-jitsu guy, gets a lot of finishes on the ground. I think Billy Q's ground game is competent enough to not fall into anything like that, and his wrestling is good enough to stay on top, and his striking is good enough to maybe even put Damon Jackson away. Fortis MMA trained, always very hard to go against the Fortis MMA guys. But if you guys saw anything in the last couple of weeks, Saif Saud wasn't in a Fortis MMA guy's corner. They had Uriah Hall in there instead because Brandon Moreno just had a fight. So if you heard anything about Brandon Moreno's camp and how Larasenko and Brandon Moreno get all the attention in the gym from James Krause, you'll know that Saif Saud isn't putting all of his eggs in this basket. I'm going with Billy Q here. I think he's better everywhere.
I'm going to go with Billy Q as well. Big bet for this one should be anything that involves it not going the distance, because if you look at their records, you have Damon Jackson, who has never lost by decision. Anytime he loses, he gets finished. He's also only won 3 of his,
22 fights?
No, dude. Pro MMA records 22 and 5. He's got 28 fights, and 3 of them have gone to decision. So, yeah, this could not be more of an under or a fight does not go the distance kind of play. That being said, you look at the Ilya Topuria fight, you look at the Dan Ige fight, you look at these situations where you have a younger, faster, high twitch, athletic guy, and homie's in trouble, as Makana would say. So I think Damon Jackson gets knocked out again here. Because think about it, they're both coming off knockout losses. So that's the risk here, right? One of them could get knocked out again, coming in, especially Quarantillo coming in against Hernandez. He got a lot of damage in that fight too, even though he won. So 2 back-to-back fights over the last 6 months, taking hella damage. Now he's coming in against a guy who got knocked out 5 months ago. So kind of makes you go, okay, they're both 34 too. Something in your mind makes you go, oh, Billy Q's like 28 and Jackson's like 34. No, they're the same age, same height, same everything. But Quarantillo is just a little bit more fast twitch, I think, a little bit more slick with the striking and a little bit more deadly. Also, I think he's got a little bit more in the bank, even though he's just got less fights. So I think even though he's had the rougher go last couple fights, he's also had, not as long of a career as Jackson. So I'm going to go with Billy Q, but I love fight does not go the distance.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are siding with me on this one because I was trying to school you both that Edson Barbosa was going to be Billy Q and that Dan Ige was going to be Damon Jackson. I told you both of those 2 things, and I don't think both of you listen to me. So I'm glad we can triple P certify Billy Q since I'm the Billy
Pandemic
Q
hero, somebody who's been around since the start of the podcast, somebody we've always loved to bet on as an underdog since the start of the show. Here's the main takeaway. The way Billy Q loses most of his fights is by decision. Like I said, Damon Jackson has never won a fight by decision or lost, and most of his losses are not by decision. So the way Billy wins, however, is by knockout, and that's the way Damon Jackson's been losing lately, and that's the way he loses to this type of fighter. And the way Damon Jackson wins, even though he knocked out Pat Sabatini, is usually by submission. And guess how Billy Q never loses? By submission. He's got 0 submission losses. So,
and Luke, you mentioned a Pandemic Hero. This is a card of Pandemic Heroes. This is a card of Pandemic Heroes. This is probably the most
Cody Baloney, Sean Woodson, Cody Durden, Billy Q, Ode Osbourne next. I mean, yeah, we really do have a card full.
Gavin Tucker.
It goes on and on and on. The whole card. I mean, the whole card.
Ignacio, Tanner Bozer, Dustin Jacoby, Kennedy Nzechukwu.
Klein.
Like it just keeps going and keeps going.
Well, let's keep going and keep going. We had our first, I think, our third Triple B certified pick. Billy Quarantillo, Billy Q, Jake Hadley, and Sean Woodson so far. Those are going to be the three Triple B certified picks. Ode Osbourne taking Asu Almabaev, Alabama. ASU, Alabama State University, Alabama. What, this guy just a massive Alabama guy? What's going on here?
Roll damn tide, because I'm rolling damn tide. I'm taking Asu on this one. I know we've been disappointing in a lot of our Kazakhstani guys out here. It wasn't the guy last week. He probably should have finished homeboy. He was like a -500 favorite and had a really tough fight. I forget his name. And then, Zalgas Zumagulov cut. I hate to see it. There's 17 fighters on my list who I think should be cut before him.
Oh, dude, I'm so with you. I mean, there's a laundry list of fighters you cut before you cut fucking Zalgas, who's
a beast.
Out.
He loses every fight by split decision. Who cares? That's a win in my book. One judge thought he won. So I'm going with the Kazakh boy, the AC. They spell it AC, not Asul in Kazakhstan. Interesting. I'm going with him on this one. Ode Osbourne, right for the picking. I feel like this guy, he always has the biggest moment possible and always blunders it. I'm going with Azul, Alabama, roll damn tide.
Asu, definitely going with Asu in this one. I have not been all that disappointed with the Kazakhstani guys. I mean, maybe the one guy with Patty Pimblett's haircut, but
Zalgas.
But the rest of them are doing quite fine. As is our buddy here. Only 2 losses, one of them being to Tajir Ulembekov. So I'm not going to doubt these Kazakhstani dudes coming out, absolute studs, absolute beasts in every way. Ode Osbourne, as Alex said, has definitely had some really good moments in the UFC, but also has some very big holes that I don't think have been filled quite yet. You can cut that. So going to go with Asu on this one. Easy pick.
I don't know. So this guy, Azu, went to split decision with 40-year-old Zach Makovsky, Bellator's first inaugural bantamweight world champion. 40 years old, and very recently, and it was his last fight. It was his last fight in Brave CF 60. Happened a year ago. No, it happened not a year ago. It happened fucking 7th. What year is it? Is it 2023?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's 2023. It happened a year ago. A year
what did you think it was?
Fucking dude, I don't know. I don't even try not.
That happened 4 fucking years ago. Are you kidding me?
I mean, yeah. What are we doing? Gregorian, Caesarian, pagan. What kind of calendar are we using? Christian calendar. There's so many calendars I can't even keep track anymore. So it's like, okay. My point is, he only's had one other fight in Brave since then, and he got a second round rear naked choke against this 3-3 Puerto Rican Filipino guy. Filipino guy. Okay, so he choked
Luke
out.
doesn't know flags. He wasn't judging that on his appearance. Luke just has no idea.
I was looking at the flag. But yeah, if I saw the appearance, I would have said Filipino instantly. But it took him it took him a round and a half to choke out a 3-3 Filipino guy. Like some guy that was driving a Uber in the Philippines, a Lyft in the Philippines, like 3 days before. And it took your guy that you guys are all of a sudden best friends with. It took him this long. So what has O'Day ever done to you? Like O'Day he's a good fighter. Comes out, he's a Jamaican sensation. You know, he's 12-5. Sure. Okay. He's got a loss by decision, 2 losses by submission, 2 losses by knockout.
He got knocked out by Brian Kelleher in the
Mason
first
Nam
round on the
knocked him
biggest
out.
stage.
Now Cape knocked him out. Brian Kelleher guillotined him. Yeah, okay. So it seems like you're saying that this guy's going to submit O'Day Osbourne because that's his thing. He's got 8 submission wins, 47% of his wins by submission. We got 3 wins in M1 Global. Dude, this guy hasn't fought in any organization that's reputable. He hasn't fought anybody that's good. Sorry, Zach Makovsky. We trained together at Marcelo Garcia Academy one time. You know, you're a cool guy and everything, even though you came at my dude BJ Penn pretty hard. I'd like you to have some respect for BJ Penn.
Why'd he come at BJ Penn? What'd he say?
It was during the pandemic, so I'm going to give him a pass. People were a little crazy during that time. Maybe he was going a little crazy, being kept inside. So as long as Zach Makovsky is ready to apologize to BJ Penn, everything can be all good. But if he's got beef with BJ, I think that's inappropriate to say the least. So, you know, you're fighting. You're BJ built the ground you walk on. So let's be real. This guy, one of the judges thought 40-year-old Zach Makovsky, 135-pound, tiny, fun size Zach Makovsky. They thought that Zach Makovsky, a guy who was 11 years older than him, they thought that he fucking beat this guy, dude. Think about that. So I'm going with the Jamaican sensation to fucking give this guy the UFC jitters and beat his ass. I'm taking O'Day Osbourne. Sorry, it was a long-winded way of saying that, but I just wanted to really sift through those ashes because you guys caught me off guard there. I mean, we know O'Day Osbourne. He's done well for us sometimes. You know, not all the time, obviously. But Asu, this guy's pretty new.
All right. Well, next up, we got Gavin the Gun Tucker versus Diego Lopes.
Gavin Tucker, he's governor.
I always get him confused with Tucker Lutz. I think they're the same guy. They look
Tucker
exactly
Lutz
like
the gun either, though. He's
Couple Tuckers.
Tucker
Carlson.
Lutz is the gun, right?
that smells like the gun Baghdasarian.
Top Gun.
Tucker Lutz. The name Maverick Maverick should have taken.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Diego Lopes literally looks just amazing. He looks like he looks like so many things, right? Like he looks like who's that guy that was at Neverland Ranch, child star guy?
Pat Downey.
Corey
Feldman.
Feldman. Right? He looks like Corey Feldman. Facts. He looks like he could be
a K-pop star.
K-pop star. He looks like he could be like an emo star. He just he's everything. He's everything to me. I love this guy, Diego Lopes. He almost, as a massive underdog, whooped Movsar Evalev's ass. He certainly won that first round, took that off him. I'm going with Diego Lopes here. 9 years younger, 6 inches taller. He's got a 8-inch reach. I mean, this is like a hey, thanks for that great fight against Movsar on short notice. Thanks for actually showing up and fighting all 3 rounds and not rolling over and dying. You're the man. Here is Gavin Tucker. Beat him up. Coming off a knockout loss. Hasn't fought in 2 years. Literally got knocked out by Denier 2 years ago. What are the odds going to be here, dude? If Diego Lopes is anything less than minus 1,000, I'm betting him.
No, yeah, I'm going to take Diego Lopes to the bank. Diego Lopes is the man. He looks like he could be in a variety of different things. Like Luke said, he looks like emo Pat Downey, as I'm concerned.
I like that.
I love him. He had such a great performance on very, 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 very short notice, where Gavin Tucker is a guy pulling out all the time. He's pulled out against Pat Sabatini twice in a row. He's afraid of Pat Sabatini. I'm taking the under on how many rounds this fight's going to happen because I don't think it even sees 1 round. I think it sees 0 rounds. I think Gavin Tucker's going to tuck tail and go back to Canada where he belongs, and he ain't going down there. He ain't going down to Tennessee.
I think the fight that will happen is Woodson versus Woodson.
Say nope to Lope.
Say nope to Lope.
Say nope to Lope. Gavin, the Governor Tucker, is going to rise from the 2-year ashes and he's gonna put a beat down on Diego Lopes like you guys wouldn't even freaking believe. All right, here's what I never do in this game that we play. Here's what I never do.
Learn, watch fights, and
I watch the fights. And I'll tell you what I don't do.
Any historical, statistical data. I don't know what don't you do, Dan?
Well, here's what I don't do. You guys love to do it. You guys take a guy who loses in style, and you put so much stock into it, and say, "Oh my God, did you see the way he lost? You see the way he lost? It was awesome."
Look what it did to us with Philo last week. Look what it did for us with Philo.
Gosh. Listen, Philo had other quality fights under his belt before that loss that we could look to and say, oh, he actually is a good fighter. We're just going off of him getting his ass beat for 2 rounds.
I had not seen any of his other fights besides the Micaiah fight. I was basing it solely on
I did, because I actually watched the fights.
So what are you basing your governor pick on? The fucking knockout against Dan Ige 2 years ago? Like, that was his last performance. So if we're going off last performances...
Well, I'm not going off of last performances. I'm going off the whole picture, but you're just going off of the one performance you've seen of Diego Lopes, which was a loss.
He defended his takedowns. He took Movsar down. He threatened with submissions. He almost knocked him out. Movsar is an undefeated fighter.
We were all just...
Damn, Luke, he did beat Billy Q, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're all just creaming over Billy Q 5 minutes ago. He beat him the fight previous to getting knocked out. So he had one little slip up. He slipped on a banana peel. He gets knocked out. He's had 2 years off. He's a quality fighter. We know that. What we don't know is emo boy Diego Lopes losing in style, whether he could actually get a win in the UFC, which he has yet to prove. So I'm going to go with Gavin Tucker. Suck it.
I might reevaluate this one. Honestly.
I'm literally disrespecting you. I'm like on my phone because I don't even want to listen to like your bullshit.
I think Dan might be right on this one because
which then?
I mean, I was a guy who told you guys, I was like, Dan Ige is gonna knock Gavin Tucker out. Dan Ige is gonna knock out this guy. Dan Ige is gonna knock out that guy. Dan Ige is Luke's Grim Reaper. So if you get knocked out by Dan Ige, Luke will never pick you again.
And conversely, Alex is the Dan Ige whisperer. He knows all the picks.
I will always get a Dan Ige fight right. I know that he can't beat Edson Barbosa, but I know that he can. Wait, didn't he get? Didn't he rob Edson Barbosa on a split decision? Now that I'm thinking about that. Anyway,
yeah, he did actually.
Can I just want to say one quick thing. Carlston Harris, bestfightodds.com, very limited odds. BetMGM is the only book, and Bet365, and these are the only books that have any lines that I'm seeing on bestfightodds.com. Carlston Harris is a plus 150 underdog. Jeremiah Wells minus 185. Honey Baloney is plus 140 to Kyler Phillips minus 165. Sean Woodson minus 500.
Yeah.
But by knockout, we could get it for probably plus 100, and I think that's how you take it. The only thing is sometimes Sean Woodson loves...
He's a dancer. He's a dancer prancer.
He's got great boxing, great hooks, great uppercuts, great hooks, but he also won't control that shit with the jab the whole time.
Exhibitionist.
Yeah. Cody Durden, Jake Hadley, and Butler might fight super conservative. So it might be Woodson by decision is the play. Durden's plus 160, Hadley's minus 200. I think that's pretty generous. For the situation. Underdog, you know what I mean? Coming in on short notice. Your boy Asu is a minus 150 favorite to Ode Osbourne plus 125. You know what that is to me? A trap line. That's a trap line. That's a
rat line.
It's a rat line. They hang that out there to go, so that casual
take the cheese, Danny.
They go, oh, I'm going to take minus 150 because, like, it's a close fight, but he's, like, a favorite, so he's probably going to be the guy who wins. So all the casuals who don't even watch the fight, they click that, and then, boom, all the smart marks like me. Remember when the Phillies played the Rays? The Phillies were plus 125. They swept the Rays. That's called a trap line. They didn't want you to bet the Phillies. They wanted to discourage you from betting the Phillies. And by discourage you, I mean discourage, like, the
layman.
Yeah, they wanted you to really think, yeah, the Rays are going to win this. The layperson bets the chalk on the Rays, and they take all that chalk home, and they make you think, by making them the underdog, they make you think they're not going to win, you know? Why would Vegas make him the underdog? Vegas is smart. If they were going to do it, they would do, you know, like, if it's a trap, they're tricking you. All right, cool. So
not tricking me.
Dan's going with Tucker. Alex, are you formally going to switch to Tucker?
I'll think about it. I'm gonna watch the weigh-ins first. Wait,
Oh
are
my
we
God,
doing
this
Friday
is the
again?
exact situation we had before, where we're like, "Well, did you pick him? Did you not pick him?"
You're
Now
sticking with Lopes
nobody.
for now. You're sticking with Lopes for now. Okay.
Are
The
we
public trust
doing
is lost. The public trust is lost.
Hey,
in your,
hey,
in your 53%.
hey, pal. Let me just ask you one simple question. Are we doing
Go
it
ahead.
after the weigh-in show, or are we doing the Patreon right after this?
We're doing the Patreon right after this, but then like you're asking what next week?
Next week we might do it after the weigh-in show.
No, I don't think we'll ever do that again. I mean, unless you guys like.
Oh,
it
okay,
better.
perfect. In that case, I'm sticking with Diego Lopes. Fuck you, Dan.
All right.
Okay, cool. All right, moving on.
Say nope to Lope.
Iggy Bahamondes
like
versus Ludovic Klein. This is gonna be a great fight. That's my pick. It's gonna be a great fight. My pick is this fight is gonna be great. It's gonna be fun, entertaining, super fun to watch.
You sound like Trump on UFC Unfiltered. It was a great fight. Every one of them was great.
Man, Ludovic Klein, Mr. Highlight, comes in, guns blazing, knocks out the head case, Shane Young. Then goes on a 2-fight losing streak. Good war with Mike Trezano. Gets choked out by Nate Landwehr in round 3. And then wins 2 in a row. Devontae Smith and Mason Jones, a good one. 11-1 at the time, Mason Jones. Then he draws Jai Herbert. And Mr. Highlight was kind of doing wrestling in that one, wasn't he? Didn't he kind of out-wrestle Jai? And that's how he kind of was able to secure the win, I think.
I think so. You got to think that the reach discrepancy is crazy in that fight.
Right, yeah. Well,
a 6 reach advantage. Jai Herbert 6'1", Ludovic Klein 5'7".
So in this match, you're going to have 6'3", 75.5-inch reach for Iggy, and a 5'7". So we're talking 8 inches shorter is Ludovic Klein, and 3.5 inches reach disadvantage that we know about, right? I think Ignacio Bahamondes kicks Ludovic Klein's ass. I don't know if he knocks him out because Klein's tough and a good striker in his own right, but I think Iggy Bahamondes is a great striker, controls distance really well. Given the height, his kicks are going to be fucking easy. He's going to be throwing kicks all night. He might head kick him. But I'm going to go with Iggy, no blemishes as far as I'm concerned in the way that he has handled himself since that Roosevelt Roberts wheel kick. I've really enjoyed watching him. Dropped that split decision to John McDessie 2 years ago, but since then he's done well. Going to be a close fight, going to be good. I think it goes to decision, but Iggy could kick him in the head.
Ludwig was not the person who had a judge score the fight for him. Granted, it was in London. Jai Herbert, not very good, but that's a tough matchup for a guy like Ludwig Klein. I think that Iggy Bahamondes is also a tough matchup. We got a 6'3" guy versus a 5'7" guy, 75-inch reach. Yes, the reach discrepancy isn't going to be as heavy in this one, but Iggy Bahamondes puts himself in weird positions to get taken down. Yes, he throws a lot of spinning shit. Yes, he's pretty good. He's got some slick submissions off his back, like a lot of these South American guys, more so jiu-jitsu off the back, crazy, flashy striking. I think that flashy striking is either going to win him the fight or bite him right in the ass, and Ludwig Klein is going to be on top of him for all 3 rounds. I'd like to put my money with Ludwig Klein. He's done a lot more for me. This kid's 25 years old, not quite in his prime yet, not quite in the right mental space. Trust me, I was 25 last year. I was dumb. Now I'm 26. I'm a grown man. I'm so smart now. I'm going with Ludwig Klein.
Alex, I could see why your score is hovering around 50%. You are dead wrong. Not even close. Iggy Bahamondes is going to destroy Ludovic Klein, as you said. 6'3" versus 5'7", and as Uncle Chael, god of the show, once said, not about the reach, it's about the height. The height is actually the real intangible that matters here. As far as being caught off guard and being on the ground, he's only been taken down 1 time in his entire career. He's landing almost 8 strikes per minute, which probably within like the top 3 of the entire UFC. 95% takedown defense. All the numbers are there. This is a numbers fight, Alex. And your number, 53%, stands out most of all. With
the
that
numbers,
pick.
the
that
numbers
pick.
Oh, sorry, Dan.
I'm
was
done.
that?
I'm good.
The numbers that you're referencing are against Roosevelt here today, gone tomorrow, Roberts.
Highlight reel knockout.
As Conor McGregor stated, Roosevelt Roberts.
Third round, highlight real knockout.
Third round. And then Zhu Rong, which Zhu are going to be wrong right after we see the conclusion of this fight. It's going to be a boring Ludwig Klein unanimous decision.
Oh, no way. Won his last 3 fights, 2 of them by finish. His lowest volume number, strike count, is 99 within that 3-fight span. He is lighting it up. Ludwig Klein is good, but he's not. He's nothing crazy special here. Bahamondes is the future.
Dan, how many of the guys that he beat are still in the UFC? That is my question. That is my question to you. Zhu Rong is back on the road to the UFC right now. That's Korean Zombies thing, right? Trey Ogden hasn't fought since that fight. It was a short time ago. Roosevelt Roberts on the Ultimate Fighter. John Makdessi, I haven't heard that name in years.
Well, let's move on. We're going to have to agree to disagree on this one. Me and Dan sticking with Iggy Bahamondes. Alex taking Ludwig Klein. I think it's going to be a close fight either way, a good fight, but I got to just reward good behavior. Ignacio Bahamondes never did me no harm, and he's the taller, rangier, higher volume, better striker, good wrestling defense. I think he's got all the intangibles. So we'll move on. I don't want to give you guys, recency bias and make you think only take me and Dan's side. Alex had some good points for Klein, but overall, 2 out of 1, we're in the majority. Next fight, Tanner Boser, the bulldozer, taking on Alexa Camur. And Tanner Boser is somebody who early on, you saw some Chris Daukaus-like potential. And much like Chris Daukaus, he sunk like a stone and has been losing a lot of fights. He got destroyed by Ian Cutelaba, a small light heavyweight, beat him on his way down to light heavyweight. Rodrigo Nascimento took him to a split decision. He did knock out Ovin St. Peru, okay. But also a small light heavyweight, Ilir Latifi, split, or small light heavyweight, heavyweight, Ilir Latifi, split decision, lost to him. An old heavyweight, Andre Arlovski, loses to him. Tanner Boser just really can't do anything right. He beats Pessoa, Felipe Lins. He loses to Cyril Gahn, loses to Spitz, and that's it for the UFC. But yeah, a lot of losses outside the UFC. I think this will be another one. To be honest with you, I'm gonna pick Tanner Boser here, but it's not because I think he's good. It's because he's fought really recently. He fought 2 months ago, fought 10 months ago, fought 2 years ago. Meanwhile, he's got 3 fights in the time that since what's his name, Alexa Camur's last fight. Alexa Camur, a guy who we had a guy in our Discord, Greg. He was in a Discord with Alexa Camur for NFTs, and he brought Alexa Camur into our Discord for a little while. He was chatting it up with us for a little bit, but then he left. I don't know why. I guess he was too cool for us, or any money to be made in our Discord from selling JPEGs. But yeah, I don't know. Alexa Camur, ever since that day, it's like, okay, bro, whatever. Like, get out of the Discord then. No problem. Leave. Look at that's on the way out, Alexa. But where you been, Alexa? It is a girly first name. He has not fought in 2 years and 1 month. 2 back-to-back losses. It's a really hard fight to call. But I kind of want to just go with Tanner Boser just to root for him because, he's at least trying in there. He's not sitting on the shelf at 27 years old,
Well, he's not trying in there. He's sitting there crying on everybody's podcast he goes on about how Crypto.com doesn't give me no money.
That was a bad look.
Venom's the only company that gives me money. So, hey, I support Venom in there. And Tanner Boser, I would love to know how much it took for Venom to shut your ass up about Venom. In reality, when you look at the amount of fighters in the UFC, Tanner Boser is in probably the bottom 10, 25 percentile of the entire UFC male roster. How he's in the same category as the Beverly Hills Ninja, who hit the road jack a short time ago, where, you got Alexa Camur fighting, William Knight. William Knight was a beast. Yes, he might not be in the UFC anymore, but we know William Knight's a beast. We know Nikolai Negumereanu is a beast, okay? That's not the same level of guy that Tanner Boser's fighting. Ian Cutelaba, the Hulk, Yeah, Luke, the Hulk, your guy, your boy, your god. That's why you're going with him. You love the Hulk. You love Ian Cutelaba more than anything on this earth, and I can't stand it. And I'm going with not a crybaby dumbass like Tanner Boser, who has 4 missing teeth, talking about how crypto.com and Proper 12 ain't paying him no daggone money. You don't need any of that money, Tanner. Get with the rest of the truckers in Canada and hit the road. All right? If you want some extra money, hit the daggone road. I'm going with Alexa Camur here.
Me too. All right, I switch. Go ahead, Dan. I switched to Alexa Camur formally.
Very weird for you to originally pick Tanner Boser. Triple P certified Alexa Camur. Even in his last fight, split decision against quality opponent. We already went through the main facts here, but lands 100 strikes as a light heavyweight area fighter. So gotta love that. Gotta love a high volume striker at the higher divisions, and against a guy like Tanner Boser, you can't go wrong there. So Triple P certified Alexa Camur.
Ohio is the second worst state in the union. You know what the first one is, Dan? Canada.
Ooh.
We
Got
own
him.
Canada's bitch asses.
All right. So I love that. That's amazing. So Triple B certified Alexa Camur. Okay, next we got the Hanyak, Dustin Jacoby, taking on a one Kennedy Nzechukwu, African Savage. So 31-year-old versus 35-year-old. We got the Nigerian out of Dallas, Texas, coming off 3 finishes. He submitted Devin Clark. He knocked out Ian Cutelaba, and he fucking knocked out Baby K, Carl Robertson. But the Hanyak actually beat Baby K in a kickboxing match before. They fought in kickboxing, and he actually got a win over Carl Roberson. That was back in 2016. He also has some good wins over some. He beat Wayne Barrett. He knocked Wayne Barrett out. Wayne Barrett beat Joe Schilling by decision. He knocked him down. He knocked him out twice. Two wins over that guy. So some good wins throughout his entire career, but will he be able to get past the reach advantage of Kennedy Nzechukwu? I think this fight takes place on the feet, but it's going to be interesting. It's a really tough one to call. I really just want to watch this one from a fan perspective and not bet this too much. I think you got to look at it like, okay, 2 decision losses for Jacoby. He's going to come in really motivated and dying to win versus Nzechukwu, 3 finish losses. I think when you get a lot of finishes in a row, the second you kind of encounter like a situation where you go for a finish and don't get it, what's that? A surprise. All of a sudden, the fight's a lot harder than you thought it was going to be. Things unravel pretty quick from there. Jacoby used to go into decision, used to blood and guts wars, might even get a takedown in this match. I think Jacoby could win in a lot of different ways and will probably be in a position to be optimistic throughout the match, and I think he wins. I don't know. I'm going to go with Dustin Jacoby, but it's going to be a tough fight. Don't want to bet it too much, just want to enjoy it.
MMA Math says that Dustin Jacoby wins. Don Jung knocked out first round by Dustin Jacoby. Kennedy Nzechukwu finished in the first round by one Don Jung. Seda. I like
other ones too in there. There's some other instances too, I think, where Dao Jung, or I'm sorry, with Kennedy Nzechukwu has beaten some people that, or that Dustin struggled with. Like, for example, let's see. Sorry, go ahead, keep talking. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I just think Dustin.
Sorry. Kennedy Nzechukwu finished Ian Cutelaba, who went to a draw with Dustin Jacoby.
Yeah, fine. That's fine. A draw is a draw is a draw. I thought that Dustin Jacoby beat his last 2 opponents in both of those fights, unless one of them took him down a lot. Did Azmat Mirzakhanov take him down a ton and just hold him on his back? Am I misremembering that fight? I don't know. But I definitely thought he beat Khalil Roundtree's ass. And I think this is going to take place on the feet. Kennedy Nzechukwu has actually been developing his ground game quite a bit, taking guys down, getting on top of them, putting some punishing ground and pound on them, all courtesy of Fortis MMA, somebody we were very high on. Let's just see if Saif Saud can make it tonight. If Saif Saud can make it, I would like to take Kennedy Nzechukwu, but I'm actually going with Dustin Jacoby. Dustin Jacoby all the way. Dustin Jacoby is a way better striker, and I think that this takes place on the feet, as Luke said.
Yeah, I kind of want to fade Nzechukwu here just because he's so finish dependent for his wins. And the last time that Jacoby was knocked out was against Alex Pereira in 2014. So this is a guy who's very durable and very knowledgeable on the feet. But that being said, Nzechukwu is, I mean, he's always proven me wrong. He's freaking huge in there, very imposing. It seems like he's growing exponentially at skill level, as Alex alluded to with the grappling as well. So I think I could see a world where Nzechukwu, finds a way on top position, maybe gets a choke, maybe gets a ground pound finish, but at the very least can squeak out 2 of the rounds just via the grappling department, which, as we know, Jacoby can struggle at times as the former kickboxer. So I like Nzechukwu here. Not one of my more confident picks, though.
All right, so we will stay divided for now. Check back in with us next week. We will see. Dan's going to be the lone soldier on Kendi and Nzechukwu. This next fight is an absolute lock, and it goes back to what I said earlier about her not accepting, Jessica Andrade not accepting the Erin Blanchfield defeat for what it was and thinking that it was something that it wasn't. To me, Suarez wins this fucking anywhere she wants it. I'm picking Suarez to win. Dump the Brinks truck on Suarez, not financial advice, entertainment purposes only.
I mean, yeah, this is an obvious pick. I would imagine that Suarez is going to be a minus 900 favorite.
Let's hope that other handicappers are like, no, Andrade, she's only really lost to the elite of the elite, and Young fight Zhilei Lang for the title, and we all know how good Erin Blanchfield is. It's like, let's hope they all just say, no, Andrade is being disrespected here. Let's hope that, and push all the money on Andrade, even the line out a little bit.
Tatiana Suarez is one of these women that has gotten into wrestling at a very young age. I think her brothers wrestled. She wrestled. Everybody in her family wrestled. She's from a wrestling background. She's not like Rose Namajunas not winning a grappling tournament because John Danaher's daughter's in it. It's like, this girl's 16 years old, Rose. You got to fucking finish her, okay? Let's go. But Tatiana Suarez is an absolute smother fest waiting to happen. Tatiana Suarez has been one of my favorite lady fighters for a very long time, ever since I saw her on The Ultimate Fighter. I loved her, and she had some bad injuries in between now and then, but I think if Jessica Andrade is worried about a titty falling out against Erin Blanchfield, she's got a lot to worry about against Tatiana Suarez.
Keep it short and sweet. Triple P certified Tatiana Suarez, an absolute beast in there. So excited to see her back, coming back from all the injuries and whatnot. So a healthy Suarez is a big problem for this division.
Beautiful. Well, that brings us to our main event, UFC Nashville main event. Corey Sandhagen taking on Rob Font. For me, I'll go first. I'll just say this fight, I think, is dependent upon the range that it's fought. Rob Font, great boxer, amazing jab. If Corey Sandhagen fights at that range, he's going to lose. If he fights at boxing range, he's going to lose. If he throws those crazy kicks he's got and makes Rob come to him and dots him up with jabs and leg kicks and body kicks and spinning kicks, and mixes it up in that way, it could be a long night for Rob Font, walking into a buzzsaw of action from Corey Sandhagen, walking into an absolute wood chipper of bones. But if Corey Sandhagen fights stubborn and Rob Font fights smart, he could end up jabbing him up. He could end up evading those leg kicks and landing some great and powerful body shots on Corey and beating him in the way that we've seen him beat by guys like Peter Yan. But I think since the Yan fight, Sandhagen has learned so much, and he looked so good in his last 2 fights on the feet. Not to say Rob Font didn't. A lot of people had him written off, plus 180 underdog or so against Adrian Yanez. He goes there and knocks him out 2 months ago. Amazing feat. But, I think Corey Sandhagen passed the Marlon Vera test with flying colors, whereas Rob Font, although out-voluming Vera, he ate some big and damaging shots. And ultimately, you couldn't make a case for him to win that fight with the shots Vera was landing, seemingly bailing himself out at the end of every round. I'm going to go with Corey Sandhagen here, but part of me thinks this could be a fucking barn burner 5-round war where both guys' faces are bloody, battered, swollen, and cut, and who fucking knows who gets their hand raised. This is going to be a crazy-ass fight. I like the decision play, even though it means 5 years off each of their lives. But I think the decision play is good because I think, well, it's tough to say, actually, because I forgot Rob Font's coming in on short notice. The value's on Font. He's like a 2-1 dog at this point. I think it'll only stretch and grow to probably close to plus 300. So I think the value's on Font, but if Sandhagen was ready to step in there against Umar Nurmagomedov, I think he's ready for Rob Font, even though it's a completely different fight. The kicks of Nurmagomedov are going to be totally non-existent versus Font. It's going to be totally strikes, jabs, and boxing that he has to worry about from Font, which might be a little bit of a weak area for Sandhagen. So I talked myself into circles, but I'm sticking with the Mongoose, Corey Sandhagen, just off preparedness.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you didn't need to elaborate that much. Corey Sandhagen is going to knock him out in 3 rounds. I think Rob Font's been spending too much time at the Bassin Haba and, going over to Malibu Beach, hanging out, drinking a couple beers with the bros. And he's a last-minute fill-in. And Corey Sandhagen probably shouldn't have even taken this fight against Nurmagomedov. He's right in line for a title shot, but he wants to stay active. And this is actually a perfect case scenario for him. Out of the frying pan into the water, he is. He is going to absolutely destroy Rob Font. Rob Font is going to be a dead man walking. He is going to get knocked out.
That's interesting because, I guess Boston is great in the summer. 4th of July in Boston is something to be seen, something to behold. So if Rob Font was, relaxing with the family at all, Sandhagen wasn't. He's a bachelor. He lives alone.
This guy lost to Jose Aldo, Luke. Jose Aldo is retired in the Hall of Fame, okay? Yeah. No besmirching Jose Aldo's name by any means. Jose Aldo could become a champion in multiple divisions in any other organization at all.
I think Sandhagen could take this fight to the ground and make it very easy for himself, but I don't think he'll choose to for several rounds.
I think he'll knock him out. I simply think he's going to knock Rob Font out. Because I didn't see that Marlon Vieira fight close whatsoever. I didn't see it close. I thought the Mongoose was destroying him the whole time, and Marlon Vieira turned it on last second, like he usually does.
I was talking about Rob Font's Marlon Vieira fight when I was addressing it. I was saying
No. I'm saying the Corey Sandhagen one.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't close. He beat the shit out of Marlon Vieira.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a split decision win, so.
Yeah.
That was corruption, though, of the highest order. Everybody thought so.
Same with the TJ Dillashaw. But go on, Dan. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Corey Sandhagen, yeah, Triple P certified. I just think the guy is a lot more athletic. He's got this second resurgence of his career, I feel like, going on that we're right in the middle of. So I don't think Font is going to stop that. He was scheduled to fight in 2 weeks, Font, anyway, and this is a catchweight fight at 140. So I don't think that there's going to be any, liability for him in that regards. But all being said, if they're both at their best, I think Sandhagen's a little bit better. I think a knockout is a good play, Alex. I could see that as well. Font's taken a lot of damage over the years, and Sandhagen throws at all sorts of crazy angles. A flying knee can get in there, something like that, followed up by a myriad of punches. So I like Sandhagen in this matchup, and I think it's a parlay pillar, quadruple P certified, parlay pillar, perfect parlay podcast pursuit.
And Dan, even in that Adrian Yanez fight where he got the knockout, he was eating some shots. He was taking some big shots. Although, albeit it was a 3-minute fight, he was eating some big shots. We thought Yanez might have it. He started putting his foot on the gas and finished Yanez.
Beautiful. Well, if you want to know our Triple B certified picks, we got Corey Sandhagen, Tatiana Suarez, Alexa Camur, Billy Quarantillo, Jake Hadley, and Sean Woodson. Now, Alexa Camur, I want to put an asterisk there and say I don't like Triple B certifying anybody coming off a 2-year layoff, but he is fighting Tanner Boser, who can't seem to fight his way out of a paper bag these days. But that being said, Camur doesn't really have any strong attributes. He's in the UFC because he's Stipe's buddy, but I don't want to.
He's young.
Be certified. So check back in with us next week. I might just die on the Tanner Boser ship to take this guy off the Triple B certified ship. But for now, he will remain the younger, more athletic Triple B certified fighter at light heavyweight. In my picks, bottom to top, starting off the night, we got Kyler Phillips coming off that juicy holiday. And then Sean Woodson, the big alien, long limb boy, beating up the guy who just got knocked out by an octogenarian a month ago. Kyler Phillips, Sean Woodson, Jake Hadley, Carlston Harris, Billy Quarantillo, Ode Osbourne, Diego Lopes, Iggy Bahamondes, Alexa Camur, Dustin Jacoby, Tatiana Suarez, and Corey Sandhagen, the Mongoose. Alex, Dan, take it away.
Luke, I'm going to go through this real slow so you can get my correct picks this week for once in your whole life. Because for some reason, there's some type of discrepancy every single time we do this. But I'll go Kyler Phillips, Sean Woodson, Jake Hadley, Jeremiah Wells, Billy Quarantillo, Asul Alabama, Diego Lopes, Ludwig Klein, Alexa Camur, Dustin Jacoby, Tatiana Suarez, and Corey Sandhagen. Dan.
You picked Phillips, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Rolling
Luke,
with
take the
Lieutenant
camera off.
Dan. You're going with Corey Sandhagen, Tatiana Suarez, Kennedy Nzechukwu, Alexa Camur, Ignacio Bahamondes, Gavin Tucker, Asu Almabaev, Billy Quarantillo, Jeremiah Wells, Jake Hadley, Sean Woodson, and Hani Barcelos.
Beautiful. Thank you, boys, for joining the show. And everybody, as always, get over to the Patreon if you want to hear us break down UFC 291, Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje for the BMF title, and Jan Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira. We already broke it down for free for you on the YouTube channel. It's there for free right behind this video. Go watch it. Give it a like. Give it a comment. But if you want to support the show, and especially if you want to support Dan, get into that Patreon. Subscribe for the full year. Subscribe for the month. But if you get in for the full year, you get a 16% discount, and all that money will go to Dan. Please get in there and support the show and hear us break down UFC 291 yet again with a fine-tooth comb. Maybe some things have changed. Maybe they haven't, but we're going to go through it either way once again. And we'll do the same next week for this card. That's how it works now. We're 2 weeks ahead, give you the picks for free, and then we come in on the Patreon and go through everything a second time. And I mean, it's definitely been helping me. As you saw last week, 11 out of 15. Week prior, 11 out of 13. Week prior, 10 out of 13. And Trophy Certified Picks leading the pack at 65% accurate in year 4. Crazy to say it. We're in year 4. We're blazing a trail. And we finished year 3 with 70% accurate Trophy Certified Picks. So we're right there with, the average. We're still relatively in that 65 to 70% accurate range for Trophy Certified Picks. So join us on the Patreon, everybody. Thank you so much.
Later, folks.